On this eve, my name is Bradley Hewing, and I am playing Grayson Holland, the Tremere. And tonight, we will see how far my magic takes us.
This is a little weird considering I go next, but you know what, whatever. I play Acer Zoran. I regret everything that's about to happen.
All right, I'm Morgan Caldwell, and I play Crescent, the La Sombra. So let's do this.
If the shadows work for you.
We'll see.
And I am Peter Needham, your fair but very watchful storyteller. And I thoroughly am excited to see what our coterie comes up with tonight. But let's go ahead and continue our story. As you all break into the room, the smell of crimson blood freshly spilt is constantly assaulting your senses. It floods out of this open room like a miasma as Malenkov's ghouls, they just slowly turn their heads to look at you with a smile. One is kind of twirling a knife in his hand, just back and forth, just chuckling. Hey, boss, looks like we have more for the party. As Malenkov just stretches and you see him crack his neck, he opens his mouth wide in a smile, and you can see long, dagger-like fangs protruding out the side of his face as gore just ebbs off the side onto his beard, dripping down his bare chest across this sticky, clotted mess that he's nestled himself in. Everywhere you look around in this room is a travesty. There's not an inch of clean space, dimly lit with several dotted bits of candlelight and wall-mounted chandeliers that give this room a strange, macabre, almost red hue. Almost envisioning like Dragos' paintings on the wall, but in real life. Well, well, well. Took you all long enough to find me here. Come for the party. I'm sorry, I kind of got a jump on things.
I've got my gun prepped, so I'm pulling it out.
Oh, whoa. Little sister, why such hasty actions?
I should be asking you that.
I'm not the one trying weapons already. You'd ruin all the fun.
Excuse me, there's several dead bodies around this room?
Oh, you're not very good at counting. There's more than several. I've been here for a while.
Oh, thanks for further proving my point.
Oh, are you one to judge? That reminds me. He cracks his knuckles, leaning in on the bed. You can hear it squeak under his weight as he rests his arms on his knees. You're a Camarilla dog. When they tell you to bark, you just do it. When your little friend over there, as he gestures over to you, Grayson, tells you to hurt someone, you just do it. You know, I like you. I actually do. See, you're not like my foolish younger sister. You're not a coward. I've seen war. I've seen suffering and bloodshed that you would never understand in your wildest dreams. But the thing about it, I can see it on your face. You remind me of myself so long ago. Tragedy and pain is something that you lived with on a daily. And when all hope seemed lost, you found yourself here. Why do you subject yourself to be leashed like an animal? And look around you. We are superior, and the Camarilla are just going to bind us down. I have been running circles around Camarilla bitches for years, for centuries. My name is feared in the dark. They hear the name Malenkov, the Khan of Sabat, and they quake. I don't understand why my sire worked so fucking hard for this deal when they've already proven they just want to tie us down. Oh yes, I've heard about this little arrangement. I'm giving you all a chance. As he kind of tilts his head a little bit, you can see the irises of his eyes beginning to expand, almost encompassing the entire white of Ascilia. Leave. Go home to your havens. I don't usually take mercy, but I know you don't have the right to speak in the Camarilla. And when you go home, I will find my sister. I will make her fucking pay. And I will go home. But if you get in my way, you won't see another night. I refuse to bow my head to a worthless fucking upstart like Dragos. He is a fledgling. He has not seen war or suffering like I have. He doesn't have the right to order me around. You all, at the very least, are competent. So from an elder brother to my younger sister, and by associations to her friends, and a worthless thin blood at that, I'm giving you all a chance to leave me the hell alone.
You're just going to see Acer pull out a little bottle, open it up, take one pill from his jacket, put it in the bottle, close it, and the other 2 pills, he's just going to pop them in his mouth. He's not going to activate them. He's just going to hold them there.
His eyes immediately lock onto you, and you see him just scanning you top down. You've never really seen Malenkoff in person, but the thing that immediately strikes you, and you feel this oppression almost hit you, this fear that begins to radiate in this room. In fact, you all begin to fear it. As he slowly tilts his head, and the light in the room just seems to grow even dimmer. Despite the candles offering a comfortable amount of light, it's like the shadows themselves are just creeping in around him, almost silhouetting him in this monstrous space. You can all feel this pure essence of fear radiating in this space. Not fear from him, but yourselves. Even you, Crescent, to a certain degree, you can feel your hands shake a little bit. As the eyes of predators watch Acer's every single movement, calculating, waiting for a move.
Mr. Malenkoff, I think I have to go back to what you said before, is that you've seen war and pain and suffering, and I think the problem is that you've seen too much of
it. What would you know anything about that?
Pain, suffering, yes. War, no. I haven't had that experience yet. But you know what I do know? Is that if you are allowed to keep going, war is going to find us again and again and again.
Foolish fledgling. War has been around you, under your noses, for the better part of centuries. The Camarilla are spineless. They hide in their ivory tower while the Sabbat has been tearing them apart by their ankles up. And Seattle will fall. The Camarilla will eventually fall. With or without the La Sombra. You're too young to understand what it's like to be fully leashed to the ground by the ivory tower. Now get out of my way, because one way or another, I'm leaving. I've had my fill, and I'd like to go find something else to do. As he slowly begins to get up.
I walk in front of him. I have my gloves in front of me, and I just get into the fighting pose, like, you're not leaving, Malenkoff.
As Grayson does that, Acer's actually going to back off and kind of separate from Grayson and Crescent and more just hang towards the back, keeping his focus on Malakoff's ghouls. I assume they're ghouls. I don't know if they're the vampires.
Looking at them, they don't seem to air the same type of energy. And they look familiar to the recordings you see previously. You're pretty comfortable that these are the ghouls he's referring to. But Malakoff looks to you, Grayson, as you stand in front of him, and you have to look up at him. He's a good head taller than you. His shoulders are broad as he straightens his back out. He seems to always walk with his hunch, but now he stands fully straight. Flexes his chest towards you as he slowly, almost animalistically, looks his eyes over to Crescent. And to baby sister.
I've made my choice. And I'm going to shoot past him at one of the candles, see if I can get it knocked over.
Okay, well, this all happens at once. Because the moment those words leave your lips...
Oh dear.
Blackness. Let's go ahead and see how this ends. In this moment, as soon as those words leave your lips, Crescent, you do have rapid reflexes, so this happens at the exact same time before we get into our order. But you immediately fire up in this slow motion as you could almost see it begin to just pull in, and you know immediately what's going on. Because you've never seen it in person. But Eleonora has told you of the Stygian Shroud. But as that darkness begins closing in, you immediately pull your gun up and fire. Go ahead and give me a dexterity and firearms, but -3 dice. As unfortunately, this is happening at once.
Does this count as trick shot, though?
I would say yes, as you're trying to knock over a candle.
Should I rouse?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Let's.
Yeah, I'm gonna rouse the blood.
Okay, go for it.
Don't get hungry.
Good.
Great. Love that. So that is 5. No, that was 6. 6 successes. Sorry.
6 successes. So,
Yes.
this is what happens,
Oh, dear.
and it's a disorientating moment. For Grayson, you were inches in front of Malakoff, and all of a sudden, like the snap of fingers, he just looks his eyes to you and says, "So be it." As all of a sudden, the shadows that seem to just be almost leaping off the walls just blind past both of you, everyone in this room, like a swarm of fog. And as massive swirl takes place before, it's pitch black. It's silent. All of a sudden you hear the sound of like muffled gunshots and quick bursts of falling over. You're not sure what happened. Crescent, the same thing in your situation. You know you fired. It's a lot of successes. You heard a slight thump, so maybe you succeeded. You can't visually tell, but you've done something. But now, as we go in this, as Malakoff technically has taken his turn, and he's going to stand in the darkness. As you all are completely blinded. You cannot see. It feels like you're standing underneath water. The sounds around you are muffled, but the smell is still intense. I need you all to go ahead and give me a hungered frenzy check.
3 successes for me.
Okay.
Same.
Okay.
That is. Okay, that is 7 successes for me.
7 successes.
Got a crit in there.
Jeez.
Good thing, too. As those smells begin to permeate, where all of your senses are just focused on the senses you have, the smell of fresh blood causes you all to salivate, but you, one after another, just keep your mind focused at hand. It's not time to feed. It's not time to eat right now. There's too much going on. As Malakoff has already taken his turn, we're going to go ahead, go to the top of the line. I'll work on the most dexterous, working their way down. Crescent, you are up. As you spent your rapid reflexes already, what are you doing?
How much do I know about Shroud?
Go ahead and give me an intelligence plus occult.
1 success.
1 success. You don't know a lot specifically. However, the most that you know by Eleanor's stories is that a true La Sombra controls the darkness, and a master of the dark can see through it. You all cannot see, but you have a sneaking suspect that Malenkov can.
You said that we could smell everything, though, right?
Right now, the senses that you're currently feeling, you cannot see. You can hear the shuffling of footsteps nearby, but they're muffled, like you're listening to them underwater. But your sense of smell is not muted. In fact, it's almost ever so pungent, because it's the only thing your body can focus on clearly.
I would like to focus on that even more clearly, because one of the first things that came out with Malenkov was the fact that he has a stench to him. So I want to pay attention to where that might be. And I'm going to kind of just prep my discipline.
Okay, and what discipline are you prepping?
I don't think I can, like D&D, but...
You can't necessarily prep a discipline. Everything's very instantaneous. Okay. What do you
I would like to try and pinpoint where that smell is. I know I don't have the unseen senses, but I remember like it's a really pungent smell, so maybe I can try and trace that.
While you do not have heightened senses, that is clever. I'll go ahead, give me a wits plus awareness. And I'll say only -1 die, as you're trying to sort out Malenkov's stench over the copious amounts of macabre that is around you.
3 successes.
3 successes. The blood mingles heavily in the air. It's almost like a thick miasma choking you. But there is a tang of something sour, bitter, and decrepit. It's not too far away, and you feel like you have a general direction. You can go ahead and try, if you feel confident.
It's not that I feel confident, it's just it's better than doing nothing, so yeah, I'm gonna go for it.
All right, what are you trying to do then?
Touch of Oblivion.
All right, Touch of the Oblivion. Go ahead and give me a rouse check.
Don't touch me.
I'm not gonna... that's a fail.
All right. That orchid grows even brighter as you realize desperate times call for desperate measures. But the moment that orchid goes bright, there's a flare inside you, and you feel a coldness begin to set in as you feel that darkened shadow begin to coalesce down into your hand. You gain a stain, as a piece of you just seems to evaporate, and that coldness gets left behind. Go ahead and make a strength plus brawl. And I'll say with this, as you are not trying to rely on sight, you do not take the 3 dice penalty.
Oh, okay.
As you did roll very high.
And since I'm using a discipline...
yes, you do have your bonus for this.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay. That's 1, 16.
Also roll strength plus brawl.
I'm gonna use willpower.
Go for it.
You saw that.
I did. No, I saw knocking.
1, 2. 5 successes. Oh, that sounded like a lot of dice.
You just lunge forward through the dark. Grayson, you feel a hand on your shoulder. You're not entirely sure who touched you, but something just shoves you out of the way as there's this rush of movement in front of you. Crescent, you reach out blindly into the dark. That stench is overpowering, and you reach forward, and something grabs you at the wrist and jerks you upward. You feel the energy just dissipate in the air, and your arm just gets twisted, almost painfully so, and you rip yourself backwards as you just hear Malenkov clearly over the audible mumbling. Try better, little sister. Try better! She just tosses your arm off to the side. You kind of stumble into the darkness. You feel your feet slip and slide a bit on the gore as he shoves you back.
I think that's all I can do for right now. I think that's everything that I've expended.
All right, Grayson. As you are just blinded by this darkness, you feel a hand shove you off to the side. You kind of stumble back as your feet find a hard time finding purchase. You slip and slide in the gore beneath your feet. You hear the crunching and squelching of sinew underneath you. What do you do? as you have never been blinded like this before. It's like almost all of your senses have been completely muted, and you're staring at a pitch black, moonless night with nothing but the smell of pain and ichor underneath you.
Yeah, in this situation, he's going to try it. Probably knows it won't work, but he's going to try Sense the Unseen.
Sense the Unseen.
I got to try something.
I'd rather do something than nothing.
Exactly.
Did you disappear? Oh, there.
I mean, you are in the shadows at the moment.
Specs. Sense the Unseen.
Spooky.
Go ahead and roll me a Wits plus Auspex roll.
Oh,
So
Did you want to rouse the blood for this?
yeah, screw it. I'm gonna rouse.
All right, go ahead and
For
rouse.
next die. Okay. Oh, that does not count because that did not roll.
no, that was
That is a success.
Good.
Rouse.
That dictator just watches with bated breath.
3 successes. That was a good roll.
Oh,
3
yay.
successes is indeed a lot of successes. As you take a moment, the panic kind of stilling you, as you kind of stumble and get back to your feet, you look around in a panic. You have to see. You can't fight, but you can't see. So you close your eyes for a moment. You let yourself fall into the darkness for just a moment, and you suddenly look up as that golden tint radiates from your eyes. And you look around. That darkness hangs like a thick fog. But then you see silhouettes. You can see Malenkoff, merely inches away from Crescent, turn his head to you. His features almost semi-lit, like strange highlights every now and then that as he turns and moves, you can see him. You can see his ghouls as they are clutching to their throat, gasping. It seems that there's choking for air in this strange, toxic space, as they do not seem to be prepared for this. But you look to see Malenkoff's eyes, and he smiles wide at you. Hi.
Hello again. Now get down here. I'm gonna rush. How high off the ground is he?
He is standing maybe about a foot away from you on ground level, so he's on the same field as you.
Okay, I'm bum rushing him then.
All right, so you're just going to try and grapple him, or are you trying to actually hurt him?
Actually, I'm gonna try and grapple him.
You're going to try and hold him?
I'm gonna grab his arms and just try to put my foot against him to hold his arms to the side away from me.
All right, give me a strength plus brawl to see if you can hold him down. He's a big man, but go for it.
Okay, so strength.
We're in over our heads, aren't we?
Not fucking yet.
Well, the good news is you two can actually fight him.
7.
7 successes. You bum rush him with all of your might. You feel yourself skidding and sliding on the muck beneath you, but you manage to right yourself and launch yourself at him. He swings wildly. He's going to deck you straight in the face. You actually use that same momentum. You grab him by the wrist. You actually slide around him using the floor, holding onto his wrist, pull up behind his back, driving your knee straight into him, and you both hit the ground. You feel blood and ichor splatter off the floor, splattering you across the face, as you can feel that fresh, icky, clotted mess begin to just seep in through your clothes across your face as you're holding him down. This almost was reverse arm bar, son of a bitch! As you have got him now on the ground, you are holding him.
Preston, I don't know if you can hear me, but do something. I have him.
All right.
Assuming I can't hear that.
I just hear.
Follow the muffle.
Follow the muffle.
I would assume that's you.
Grayson,
Gone.
is there anything else you want to do as you have him currently at this current moment in this almost reverse armbar behind his back as you're digging your knee into his backside?
I believe that is all I can do for now.
All right, Acer, you're up. What do you want to do? As at this point, as things are happening, you hear the very muffled sounds of something. It's a lot of white noise, but it's all like you're underwater. You hear shouting of different tones of voices. You hear you hear Malenkoff crystal clear whenever he comes out, but everything else is just like you're just underwater and someone's yelling at you. You have no idea what's going on right now.
I'm just going to use one of the 2 pills I had in my mouth, and I'm going to activate Haze.
Okay. So go ahead and give me a rouse check. And Haze was normal, correct?
Correct. Haze was the normal one. Far-reaching was normal, and envelop was heightened.
Perfect.
Success.
You do not get hungrier. The beast is anticipatingly waiting for your next move.
So as the mist comes out, how far before it just kind of blends into the darkness?
Almost instantaneously. You can't even see that you're enveloped.
I'm going to unsheath my sword, get into like a stance, and anything that hits me that feels like it's trying to hit me and I take like any damage, I'm going to slash at that thing that tried to hit me.
So you're just trying to ready yourself to counterattack if something tries to hit you?
Pretty much.
Okay, go ahead and give me a Wits plus awareness.
Okay.
-3.
Got it. 2 success.
2 successes. I'll keep that in mind. Okay. In this muffled spate, as this chaos is breaking out through the darkness, Crescent, you smell something tinging. It's not Malenkoff, but you smell something. You can't quite make out what it is at this point, but something has happened. Acer, you do hear the sounds of thudding coming towards you very quickly.
All right. Body kind of tenses up, waiting for that attack.
And you're going to try and counterattack, correct?
If I recognize it as an attack, yes. If I recognize it as someone who just kind of bumped into me or is trying to escape, then no.
It doesn't sound like it's running past you. It sounds like it's running toward you.
Okay, then per what I said, as soon as I take damage, I'm countering.
All right, well, in this case, it happens all at once as you react to the clash, and you can feel the swing of your blade come through. Go ahead and give me a strength plus melee.
Okay.
With a -3 to your roll.
That's a 5, but that's a brutal critical.
That's a messy crit.
That's a messy crit, yeah. And I can't re-roll it because it's on a red number.
And you can't re-roll any black die to make it a non-critical?
The black die's the normal one. The 2 criticals are on the red.
Okay. That's a lot of damage.
Yeah, so
this is what happens. As you feel this presence coming toward you, you quiet your mind for a moment. You feel the rearing back of something. You can almost imagine in your mind's eye the silhouette of something coming at you. And before you even have time to react, you feel your muscles tightened. You feel that vibration, that power coursing through your muscles. And you just swing an upward slice to your left. And you feel your blade cut. As you beat with a margin of 1, that's a messy crit.
So that's 4 damage.
And 4 damage is a lot for a mortal to have to deal with.
Fuck.
As soon as you swing wide and you feel yourself cut, you hear as something hits the ground, screaming and roiling in pain as something just got very hurt.
I'm gonna take a stain for that one.
You do, in fact, take a stain because you have harmed a mortal. But not in a finishing blow. He screams and writhes in agony, even muffled. You can hear the sound, the familiar recording sound of Welland Malenkoff's ghouls roiling on the ground in pain as you may have cut something off. But you don't have time to really think about it as you hear a roar-like shout coming from your right as well. I mean, another strength plus melee, but -4 dice as you are being harried at once.
Okay. 1 success.
As soon as you chop with that first blade, you feel that entire body go down, the someone screams in pain. Before you have time to even turn around, as you hear another assailant, you feel a blade dig straight deep into your ribs, all the way to the hilt, and just tear out through your rib cage. You feel bone and sinew crack as you feel your lung be pierced. That is a margin of 6. You take 3 points of superficial damage. As you feel a blade just lunge straight into the hilt and twist, tearing flesh with it. And as soon as that blade hits you, you feel that presence leave as it just tears past you, taking some of you with it, tearing somewhere behind you. Malenkov's turn. As you're holding Malenkov down to the ground, Grayson, that stench is overpowering. It slams you in the face, and you're just wrestling him. It's a slippery slope. It's you, then it's him, and then it's you again as you are just rolling over this muck and gore, trying to hold him down by every means necessary. You see elbows swing wide as he's trying to just right himself to get some leverage on you. As you see him just turn his head, like, get the fuck off me! As you see his free hand rear up behind you, it comes straight for your face. I need to make him make a strength plus brawl.
Actually, I'm gonna wrap.
Are you gonna do it?
I'm going to use a willpower again to re-roll.
Yes.
Okay.
Fucking more.
All right, Grayson, what you got?
I have 9 successes with a critical.
Clean critical?
Clean critical. Black
Yep,
dice.
Clean.
You see this hand rear back towards you, and you can see that familiar necrotic energy that Crescent uses when she goes in for her own touch of oblivion. But Malenkov is coming straight at you with a knife hand-like strike, a spear of death coming straight for your eyes, and you turn out of the way. You just barely miss it by a small sliver. You feel the tips of his fingers brush against some of your hair. You feel it fizzle away on contact. You immediately rearrange your body, get your legs underneath him, and grab his arm, pulling it backward, holding it back in the grapple as it barely misses you by mere inches. But that's unfortunately Malenkov's go. As he is still grappled, he's used the power. That was a discipline. He's going to try and break your grapple. So strength plus brawl again, my friend.
Oh, Lord on a lordy, dordy, hordy. I'm counting my blessings for the love of Jeebus.
Well, you know how much damage a touch of oblivion can do.
There goes bye-bye Grayson's arm.
Or eyes.
No, that was
Bye.
it. He was going for your face. Lord knows what that would have done.
So, 8 successes.
I watched that happen.
He is going to burn a willpower for this.
I'm trying. I will burn all my willpower, damn it.
You roll 8.
Yeah.
As you hold him down, you feel his entire body just flex underneath you, but you readjust quickly and get your arms actually underneath his armpits, kind of entangling his own arms and yours and behind his neck as you just flex into him, and he can't escape. He rolled 7 successes.
Malenkov, that's enough. You can stop now.
No! Never! I will not be a Camarilla dog! I will eat your fucking heart! That's Malenkov, and you're holding place. Back to you, Crescent. What are you doing in this moment?
All right. Well, I assume this is happening next to me, but I can't really sense that because we're in a shroud. I'm going to see if I can get some sort of grab on him.
I'll say this is considered quote-unquote like your action. You're trying to pinpoint Malenkov specifically, and you get the sense that the loud crashing and thudding and whatever he just said, possibly one of your allies are in the mix here. Things are getting a little complicated for you.
You said wits and awareness, right?
Yes. As you're trying to sniff him out.
Look, just validate that for me.
Yep, so...
6 successes.
6 successes, okay. You take a smell and you know that there's a lot of rustling to your left. It's a lot of moving around, bodies moving. You feel flesh and blood and other various fluids splash onto you as you're trying to keep your balance and navigate this space. You know there's some kind of commotion to your left as you can hear Malenkov closely when his voice rings out and his smell is definitely permeating, but there's something wrong here. It's not a stationary target. There's movement happening here.
I'm gonna going to grab it as I'm trying to go for face, but I know that with Shroud it's kind of difficult to go for something exact. So I'm just trying to get any sort of hand or physical contact with Malenkoff.
So you're just trying to grab Malenkoff specifically, and that's it?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead, give me a strength plus brawl -3. I will say, with that, what's an awareness roll? That strange smell. It's getting a little stronger.
Strength and brawl -3?
Yes.
Okay, I might need to rouse blood because that's only 2 dice.
Go for it.
Okay. Success. Okay. Success.
Fast.
Success. Good.
I'm going to do a willpower for that.
All right, burn a willpower.
Oh, God. Okay.
This is the all-in.
Oh, yeah. I know.
Might as well.
I know. Okay, so 3 successes.
3 successes. As you rush in, Grayson, you suddenly feel hands on your fingerless gloved hands on your back. It kind of shuffle and pull back suddenly before grab you again. In this case, Malenkoff can't really fight back. There is this large tumbling going on as there are hands placed for a moment, Grayson. Pull back and then feel again. Crescent, you feel your hands grab a fistful of hair. Thick, sticky hair. And your Malenkoff goes, "God, fuck!"
Since I have that with one hand, I'm taking my other hand. I'm touching Oblivion face. I don't care what it's hitting. I'm just getting something.
Travel up to the face.
I'm just getting something.
Okay, go ahead and make a strength plus brawl.
Another strength brawl. I'm going to use up all my willpower for this and do it. Yeah, I'm burning willpower for that. That's terrible. Burning my last willpower. Everything's fine. Okay, 4.
4 successes.
4 successes. That is not what I wanted, but...
And did you make your rouse check?
Yes, it was success.
Good. That coldness does not spread. But as you reach out quickly, you feel you got a fistful of beard. As you reach for it quickly, all of a sudden, in this moment, as you lean forward, you feel a foot slam straight into your ankle and sweep you off your feet. Blam! You land hard on your back. Your head actually hits the ground as this floor is uneven surface. You land on top of some kind of soft and cushiony flesh, and bone pokes you in the strange location as you just feel this gore floor on you. Fortunately, he rolled 7 successes, knocking you off your balance.
You said that something sharp hit me, right?
You feel like something sharp poked you in the back.
I'm grabbing that.
Go ahead, give me what's an awareness -3.
It's 3 successes again.
3 successes. You roll in pain as luckily it wasn't sharp enough to hurt you. As you roll over and you feel it, you grab something wet and smooth. You don't know what exactly it is, but you feel the edge. There's some kind of very sharp, almost ragged tip. Something pointy. Not sure what it is, though. You have it in your hand. That's all you can do for now.
Mm-hmm.
As we're going to go ahead and move on over to Grayson. You are still holding on to him as you feel that sudden jerking of motion just sweep. You hear a loud thud as you hear this lighter voice of pain as maybe Crescent maybe was swept off her feet or something. You're not sure.
So I want to keep that hold.
Okay.
Definitely want to keep the hold on him. Could I try and move him towards that direction that I felt the hand on my shoulder? That I assume was Crescent's?
So you're going to try and kick off the floor and push closer to Crescent, where you think she is.
Where I think she is.
Go ahead and this is going to be part of a grapple, so give me a strength plus brawl -2. As you're trying to maintain your hold, but shove closer to Crescent.
I have 6.
6 successes?
Yes.
You feel yourself just scrawling on the floor, having this hard time. It's getting slippery down here. As you feel your back slam against what you feel is the frame of the bed. It hurts, but you manage to roll over with them as you kick off that bed frame and slide across the floor where you think Crescent is. You travel some distance where you feel an impact on the other side as Malenkoff hits something. God damn it! As the entire metal surface in front of you, or more like wood surface in front of you, rattles, and you hear something and begin to roll and land next to you. And there's a heat next to your arm suddenly.
Perfect.
That was your action.
I can't move him towards it, can I?
No, unfortunately, that was your whole action there.
Which, yeah, I'm going to try. Yeah, I want to try and act. I want to try and take away. So extinguish vitae.
Okay, extinguish vitae. Go ahead and give me an intelligence plus blood sorcery. It's going to be a contested roll.
And I'm going to try and rouse the blood for an extra die.
Go for it.
I do get hungrier.
All right. That dictator in your mind just continues to go, yes, Grayson. Show him what it means to fuck with Clan Tremere. He's not as big as he thinks he is. Age creates mistakes. Capitalize on it!
I'm just trying to shake it off like angry grunts as I try and activate my power. So there was a critical, so 5 successes.
5 successes. Okay. As you just wrestle him to the ground, you turn him over so you can see his gaze, and your eyes meet. You feel this momentary tether as you dig your nails into him and just stare. You see his eyes kind of go wide from him as you feel his skin almost tighten as he... as his skin tightens, and you feel that beast within him begin to rage. He is getting hungrier. And in fact, as he begins to struggle, you're starting to feel almost a savagery to him. You push something. But Grayson, that's your turn.
It is my turn.
All right, going over to Acer. What do you do?
As the knife that stabbed me kind of pulls out and backs away, I'm going to quickly, with like one hand, grab the very end of the hilt. And in just one big swing, I'm going to try and attack in that general direction.
All right, go ahead and give me a strength plus melee -3.
Okay. That's a messy for 4.
4.
I didn't get 5 this time because one of my reds is blank, which I'm sad, but meh. How many superficials can I heal per turn?
You can heal 1 superficial damage per rouse check per turn.
Okay, then I would also like to heal the superficial.
All right, go ahead and make a rouse check as you try to mend.
Success.
You do not get hungrier, and you heal 1 point of superficial damage. So, this is what happens. You beat him with a margin of 1. You feel the blade make purchase and cut across something wide. As there is no sound, you only feel your blade carve. The sound of wetness fading off the synth before you hear a heavy poof, and then a second later, a lighter poof, and a roll. You feel Grayson him strung underneath you as his head snaps over to the side as you witness Acer decapitate one of Malenkoff's ghouls. As the head hits the ground and rolls by, you feel this guttural growl that just reverberates through Malenkoff's entire body. And you just hear the snarl, "You're fucking dead!"
So I could hear that, right?
You heard that.
Okay, as soon as I heard that, face towards where the sound was, and he can't hide this. Malenkoff can clearly see that his hands are like shaking right now.
You hold your blade shaking in front of him as Grayson, you look over to see Acer point in the general direction where he heard the sound. You can see his eyes are wide, his hands are just shaking, holding onto the end of his blade that dripped fresh crimson off the end, almost slightly highlighted with this reflected movement. As you just feel Malenkoff just struggling with now this strange, furious frenzy of anger and primal savagery, his eyes locked onto Acer purely. As it seems, Malenkoff has slipped into a frenzy.
Oh,
sorry, guys.
Acer, that's your turn.
Yep. All I can do now is hope that the mist built up enough to where it's a hindrance to people.
Well, at this point, Grayson, you are going wide as you feel this strength just begin to just push past you with this primal savagery. He's going to break your damn grapple. Strength and brawl to try and hold him.
Okay, strength and brawl it is. 1 extra. Yeah, no, I'm going to burn a willpower.
Go ahead and burn a willpower.
Because I'm not letting this one go. Absolutely not.
He is also going to burn a willpower. And he's going to rouse as well.
I'm going to rouse as well.
Go for it.
I do not get hungrier. 7 successes.
7 successes. You hold on tight to him, but all of a sudden, as you have him tight, you're holding him down the ground. You feel his head almost pinned to the floor. In this strange motion, though, you feel Malenkov just move a slight inch, and his entire body turns into your grasp, sliding like a lubricant from the blood and soil that you now perceived it. You feel his legs wrap around your waist, squeeze you tight as 2 elbows just slam straight in the side of on your temples, dazing you as he just kicks you off. Your back slams against the stool as he is up on his feet. You have just enough time to look up to see he's charging straight for Acer. Acer, I need you to go ahead and make a strength plus brawl, please.
1.
1?
1.
Yeah, no. You take 2 points of aggravated damage as you feel something go straight towards you, and there's this almost brief moment where time seems to slow down as you feel something hot touch your shoulder and then carve straight through it. As you feel your entire arm in a shock of the shoulder rip and tear straight through like a hot knife through butter. Your right side is suddenly a lot lighter. The blade kind of falls to one side. You're barely holding it with one hand as you realize your arm's gone. Grayson, you watch as Acer's arm flops onto the ground. Malenkov rearing up in front of Acer with his primal savagery. That was Malenkov. Crescent, you're up. You feel like you grabbed something sharp. You don't know what it is, but in this moment, in the confusion, all you can hear is the loudest, most agonizing scream that you've ever heard, and you vaguely get the sense it sounds like Acer's voice.
I don't have anything, so guess I'm just gonna shoot blindly.
You're just gonna shoot blindly into the dark and towards the sound of the screams. To the faint smell of stench you can find. Not towards the exact sound of the scream, because obviously if I can tell that's Acer, I don't want to shoot him. I'll see for this. Go make another wisp perception as you're trying to follow that smell.
You mean awareness?
Yes, thank you.
D&D.
Yes.
5.
5 successes. That is a lot of successes. You cannot see. All you can hear now is the muffled screaming of Acer just reverberate through the void. But you're following the smell. The muffled sound of this struggle that Grayson may have been accomplished with. The smell suddenly moves. Your head just kind of tracks it. But additionally, another smell catches you even stronger. You smell burning wood. You feel heat in this room. A fire's been started. Follow your nose and you open fire.
Yes.
All right, go ahead and give me a dexterity plus firearms -3.
I'm gonna rouse blood.
Go ahead and make a rouse check.
I wish I could do that.
Yeah, then blood, success. Oh my god, thank you. I don't need anything else going wrong. Okay. That is 8, and it's a messy crit.
8 and a messy crit.
Yeah.
So this is what happens.
No, God, no, wait.
Okay. All right.
In this moment, you feel yourself. You have to act. You have to do something. And you just scream, ah! You just spin around towards the smell, and you press down on full trigger, emptying both of your guns just toward the noise. You just keep holding it, screaming to hear a click as you've emptied both of your magazines into him. You hear Malenkov scream in agony as Grayson, you watch a hail of bullets blasted his backside up the back end in a messy style that is careless, unfocused, but effective. As you beat him with a margin of 7. So, that's 10 damage. Reduced to half for 5 superficial points of damage. However, Acer, You do take 1 point of superficial damage as you are unfortunately within that tight spray, and you are just hit by several stray bullets and just graze yourself barely as you feel yourself reeling back from that dismemberment, and you scream in pain again as you feel your shoulder nicked by a stray bullet.
All right.
Malakoff just screams in agony as Acer, you feel a hand reach out and grab you onto your shirt as he kind of leans down. His head spins around to you, Crescent, as you can feel this ire, this wave of hate permeate through the darkness towards you. Just hear him, I'm going to rip your head off next, redhead, but I'm going to eat your friend first! Grayson, you're up next. You feel that heat just behind you is now getting much warmer, as you can now, where you're sitting, can smell smoke and fire. Thick, acrid smoke. Small heat to your right as you look down and you see a candle rolling ever so slightly with every movement. You can see it barely within the void. And you look up and you see Malenkoff inches away from Acer, who is looking torn. His arm laid limply on the ground. He's barely holding on to the weight of the other blade as he spins around from a stray bullet striking him in the shoulder, stumbling and squirming within the muck as Malenkoff is right in his face, not even looking at you. What do you want to do?
I can see the flame, right?
You can see the candle next to you, and you feel a heat nearby, yes.
I have some parts on my glove that are flammable. May I light those on fire?
You will take damage. All right, I'm going to need to go ahead and have you make a terror frenzy as you are willingly setting yourself on fire. So, go ahead and give me a roll of all your unspent willpower and half your humanity rounded down. It's going to be difficult.
My roll is 6 successes.
Six successes.
Yes.
There's a crit or a messy crit?
There's a messy critical in there.
A messy crit. Your hand reaches down and grabs the flame. And you look at it, and you feel that dictator scream. Grayson, you put that down. Grayson, don't you fucking do it! And you hold it underneath your hand as you begin to feel the pain almost light up immediately, your gloves bursting into a bright flame. You would take 3 points of aggravated damage. Now reduced to superficial, thanks to Firewalker. As almost instantaneously, you feel your entire hand is lit ablaze. That terror pounding, but you push through it wide-eyed. But the grit it takes to hold yourself in place, you have to call on your dictator. You force him into submission. You are in control, but you feel your teeth ache from the strain as you get hungrier.
And with that, I am bum rushing. I am going to punch Malenkoff with the fiery fist as hard as I possibly can.
Go ahead, give me a strength plus brawl. As he hears you coming and you see him spin around, and he's going to meet you dead on. As you see him rear back for his own counter-strike.
That is 8 successes for me.
He's going to burn a willpower as he can no longer rouse. You beat him by a margin of 1.
Oh, yes!
As you come flying by, you actually feel him clock you straight in the shoulder and you almost spin off your feet, but you use that momentum, swing around, and BAM! Backfist him straight in the back of the head, extinguishing the flame almost immediately on impact as you see this charred cinder scream, tear across the side of his face. You feel that scar mark impact some of the heated claws, dig in and just tear flesh from the side of his face. You see a hefty char mark. I'll consider that punch with a margin of 1 for 2 aggravated damage. As you see him just spin around on his heel, the smoke can singe up the side of his face, and you shake off your glove as if kind of the shreds just fall off your hand. That glove is burnt and fallen off and cannot be worn further. You feel hard, stinging pain on the side of your hand as it's just trembling in agony. But it could be a lot worse as you feel that slight cooling sensation try to push through from your ritual. I'll say that's your turn, Grayson. As Malenkoff spins around, he's go! That's it! I'm going to eat all of you! Every single one of you! As Acer, it's your turn.
So this dude is yelling up a storm, and I can hear him clearly.
He's right in your ear.
I want to use that to pretty much kind of aim a little lower than where I hear the voice, so I don't aim for the neck. And I want to go, and I want to try and swing at him anywhere between... Well, I can't really aim, so anywhere lower than what I hear the voice, because I'm not aiming for the neck here.
You are in agony. You try to lift the weight of your blade. It is heavy. Almost too heavy to lift with one arm. What's your current strength score?
2.
You are going to be a severe disadvantage to try this, but you can try. You are holding a very heavy, long blade.
Okay, well...
Arm. And luckily, I do know, Odachis are a lighter blade. So it is possible. If you're wielding anything like a broadsword or a large machete, it wouldn't be possible. But this, you still have some motion. You could try, but it's going to be a penalty.
Right. First things first, I'm going to try and mend the superficial damage so that I can actually have my freaking arm somewhat healed. Success.
You do not hungrier.
As I step forward and swing, what I would like to do, if you would allow me, is that second pill I had in my mouth. I'm going to take it, and that pill is far-reaching, and I'm going to use it on my sword. The thing is, I'm not letting it go. So I'm going to use the momentum from far-reaching to kind of do like a really big swing.
As you crunch down on that pill, immediately your consciousness spreads out to every inch of your limb. The air around you feels almost superheated charged, like you're vibrating with the frequency of the earth itself. And you focus all that tension, you turn your head with your eyes closed to your blade as you feel your mind physically begin to push against the blade. I'll say for this, go ahead and give me an intelligence plus melee.
Ooh. 5, 6, 7. 7 successes.
Your luck holds out. As he sees you swinging. You said 7 successes?
Unfortunately, yes. I wish it was more. I can't re-roll red die, so yeah, that's as far as I go. Yeah, 7 successes is all I have.
You close your eyes and you spin wildly. You dig your heels in as you reach out with your mind and use it almost like a phantom hand. Gripping all the way tight to the edge of the blade. Grayson, you watch as you recoil back from your burning hand. You see Acer almost stumbly start into a stance and turn. Then all of a sudden, the strike runs sharp. The blade angles clear as you see the glint of firelight at this point. As Malenkoff's darkness begins to become pushed back as a massive roaring inferno of light and flame is now towering behind you, as the back of this wall is now lighting up all the way to the ceiling, the fire touching along the roof, pushing this shadow light back. And just as everybody can now see Malenkoff, Acer, you open your eyes and swing upward just to see Malenkoff's hand reach up and grab the blade. And you suffer right through the wrist!
You know what? I will fucking take it.
As you beat him with a margin of 1. So, that now officially ticks him over into aggravated damage. Malenkoff screams in pain as he spins around backwards, clutching at the stump of his hand as he begins backing up, looking around savagely. You open your eyes again, Acer, and you see your arm on the side of your body, what should have been. But all the way up to your collarbone, about halfway through, it's just flesh and gore hanging off the side of your body as you just grit through the pain, swinging the blade backward, flicking the blade off to the side, flicking the blood across the wall, as you can see now illuminated in massive fiery blaze. The three of you now surround Malenkoff in the center of this room as he looks around with this primal fury. Grayson, you know this look. You've seen this look before. You've handled soldiers in your clinic. There's a fury in his eyes where there should be fear. There's a rage on his face that should be desperation. He's in a full fury that has now mingled with the soldier that he is. That he is making his last stand. He looks around the room, his teeth bared and snarly as he looks down each and one of you. I don't care if I fucking go down. I will not be taken a fucking prisoner. It didn't happen in Stalingrad. It didn't happen when I stormed the fucking gates. It won't happen now. But I'm gonna take you motherfuckers with me. As he spins around to the door. He shoves straight past Ace, you're shouldering him, and he slams the door shut. The thick iron door to this room, he slams shut. The outer hand, you see him dig his feet in, and he's gonna bend this door fucking shut. He grabs the side of the door, the two massively large heavy handles, you hear it. He twists it several times, the door gets shut, and he spins around looking at you all with this sinister, rage smile. I gave you all a chance to leave, but you chose to fucking stay. So be it. But I will not be taken a prisoner. We die together. As you can see, Malakoff's shadow just hides behind it, but it stretches outward, monstrous and twisted. It overextends his form as you can see the silhouette of a jagged, horrid creature. Long, pointed, shadowy ears, long, elongated claws and limbs. As you can see all the veins in his neck just throbbing and bursting. Malakoff is heavily injured. Bullet wounds litter the front exit wounds of his torso. He is missing a stump on his hand, where his hand used to be, as he's just holding his ground like a savage, caged animal. What do? I'll remind you. You would know you need him alive. Torpid or not, you need him alive for Sierra to have any chance of surviving the upcoming nights. Sierra needs this tribute. What do you want to do? As you look in your hand, you're holding what appears to be a piece of wet and sloppy bone.
I'm going to rapid reflex up to him and see if I can stab him in the heart.
So you're going to try and stake him with the bone.
I'm going to try and torque him, yeah.
This is a called shot. It's going to be a strength plus melee. But I will make it only a 1 dice penalty, as you are indeed using rapid reflexes to aid you to try and give you a little extra leverage and speed.
Okay. Oh dear, that's 5 dice. Oh, I need it. I'm going to take an aggravated.
All right, take aggravated willpower damage.
Yep. Okay, I'm going to rouse.
Go ahead and rouse the blood.
Success. Do not get hungry.
Do not get hungry or...
Verify.
Good.
Say success.
Yes, that is a verified success.
Thank you. 6 successes.
To stake a vampire with a called shot, you need a margin of 5. Correct?
I thought it was way more than that.
No, to cut off a vampire's head.
Oh, I'm thinking of
10.
decapitation.
Yeah, I forget.
I'm thinking of decapitation.
Yeah, to stake you need 5. So if you win by a margin of 5, which means he can only get 1 success.
He is heavily wounded, and he is at a disadvantage.
Oh, Lord.
So this is what happens. You look around you, Crescent. The room is going up in flames. The situation cannot go much longer. Your clever advantage will quickly be your undoing if this goes on any longer, and you know that. It has to end now. You grip the piece of jagged bone in your hand. You rush forward with rapid reflexes, throwing everything you have into the motion. The momentum carrying you through as within a blink of a flash, you're in front of Malakoff and you feel hands stop you right at the edge of the bone. As he digs his feet into him, you can see every muscle in his neck pulsing as you push and push towards him, holding you back. He looks up with you, snarling in your face, and then he smiles as the stake is ever closer. You're gonna be like me one day, sister. One day, your friends will leave you behind and they'll betray you too. You'll learn that the only way to survive is just to give in. Give in to what you are. A monster. As you see his eyes pulled back wide in something you never expected before. His piercing blue eyes narrowed down to almost bat-like slits. You watch the skin pull back from his face, his jaw opened wide as jagged rows of sharpened vampiric teeth open themselves towards you. Like a monstrosity, the skin begins to crack backward as his limbs and bones begin to extend forward as he becomes white, just as the bone slips through his grasp into his chest. The savage animal looks to you. Falls to one knee, looking up at you defiantly. Whatever was Malenkoff is gone. The savage creature, this monstrosity looks at you. He falls to another knee. His skin begins to darken. And his eyes roll back into his head. And he hits the ground. Crescent, you turn around to see the rest of your coterie. Grayson, you are wide-eyed in shock as Acer, now the pain is definitely kicking in. And you all now see the gravity of the situation. The room around you is ablaze, and you are all locked in, with Malenkoff's very large body torpid on the ground, unmoving.
I will start on the door.
And I will assist her.
Okay. As you guys make it to the door immediately, kind of pushing Malenkoff off to the side a little bit with his body kind of makes a sickening slump as it hits the soggy, wet, decrepit gore of the floor. His face kind of burying in some of the gore itself. You guys make it to the door, and you can see now with the light returning. Grayson had kicked the door in, breaking the latch. The Malenkoff has now shut what remained of the door, and any metal bar or handle he has now twisted upon itself and bent it shut with superhuman strength. You guys kind of push on it. The door is, in fact, stuck shut. How do you guys want to try and open this?
Do you have your acid blood?
I do, but it's going to take time.
Awesome.
You look at the door, Grayson, you know this door is pretty thick.
And there's no other way out of this room.
It is a closed room. You get the sense this was a room designed almost like a penthouse or VIP space. One way in, one way out, complete discrepancy. But this room, at once designed for pleasure, is quickly becoming a possible tomb.
And we don't have time for semantics. I need to just bash this door.
I'll help.
Yep. I'm going to back up as far as I can, and I'm going to start just football tackling into this door to bend it. I'll try to focus on a point to at least, I just want to bend enough of it to get a passageway.
Okay.
A small, so even if we have to crawl through it.
I'll kind of alternate with him too. We can go like.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. In the conflict, since you're leading this role, did Malenkoff ever bring you past your previous aggravated damage?
He only put me at superficial.
Okay, so you didn't fill up your tracker?
No,
okay,
not with aggravated.
I just want to make sure. So,
yep.
Go ahead, give you a strength plus brawl plus 1. Actually,
brawl?
Yeah, you're just trying to kick it through. So yeah, strength plus brawl plus 1.
I can't see you.
Do you need assistance or help?
No! I'm busy!
Help, I've fallen and I cannot get up.
I can't get up.
I need a hand.
Okay, alright, so 8 successes.
8 successes. Wow,
I did have a critical in there. That's why.
While this goes on, Acer, what are you doing? As you see Crescent and Grayson rear up, and they're not working in rhythm, they're working in unison. As they both back up, both legs up, start slamming the door. Back a few times in motion, again, slam the door. As you're just doing this over and over again. In the meantime, what are you doing?
Can I use my power-up envelop to try and choke out the fire?
Ooh.
Let me double check envelop, because it says specifically it's mist, correct?
It says envelop takes control over mist, and I just used haze that is currently flooding mist out of my body.
That is true. Your haze is still billowing up, causing a dense cloud to form. You can certainly try to see if the potency of this pill will be enough to satiate this blaze.
Well, if there's any time to test it, it's without a missing arm with one hit close to death, and I'm just going to pop a pill.
Go ahead and give me a rouse check.
Alrighty. That's a success.
Do not get hungry, but you still feed that beast panicking within. You crunch down on the pill, and you feel it almost explode in your mouth. You swallow as you feel your entire body begin to almost shudder, as you feel like you're about to fall into a convulsion. And that gaping wound on the side of your body begins to just erupt like a fire hydrant of steam, and you lean back and point the open socket of your body towards that blaze, and the mist just impacts it like freezing cold, wet air. As you just begin spraying it all over the side of the room, you now can no longer see whether or not this has succeeded or not, as now visibility has become 0. But you just keep enveloping this blaze, and as Crescent and Grayson, you begin just keep slamming this door over and over and over again with just savage ferocity. Just as you both get one last massive heave and splinter the door open, haze just odds out of the room into the hallway as you could feel the heat behind you begin to rapidly cool. And your visibility is completely obscured. Again!
I know where Malakoff was on the ground. I'm going to be like, Grayson, can you help me? And see if we can pick him up. He's a big dude.
Is Sense the Unseen still going?
It is.
I believe I will. I walk over to Malakoff
He is a
used
heavy
to be him.
individual. But with your 4 strength, I believe you have?
I do have 4 strength.
You get one arm over him, onto your back, and you begin to fireman carry him, with Crescent kind of supporting you on the backside to kind of keep you balanced. You strong man him onto your back of your shoulders, fireman style carry. Be mindful of the very jagged piece of bone by your neck. You have him.
I am going to turn to the direction I believe my compatriots in and said, "We are leaving. Follow my voice."
Yep. Okay. Sheath my sword and just kind of very, very limply just start limping. I will turn off haze, and I will keep envelop active for a little while longer, just in case there's a little more fire, and I'll just keep it in the room.
Is enough. As you all begin tearing your way down the hallway, you guys erupt out of this foggy-like cloud. Ace kind of stumbling behind you all as the haze is just kind of leaking out of this massive orifice in the side of his body, that where his arms should be. But after a bit, you guys make it to the secret entrance as both Crescent and Grayson kind of shove against the wall, causing to turn. You guys come out to see this floor has been emptied. There is no one down here anymore. You see cards and table flipped over. You see shit laying all over the floor. People left this space in a panic.
So let me get this straight. No one is here?
Nobody's here.
Where are the cameras? I'd like to check around for cameras.
Go ahead and make a Wisp plus awareness.
Well, I don't care. I don't show up on camera, so I'm going to start looking for money.
1, 2. That's what I was going to do. I just didn't want to get caught.
Well, I'm the Sombra. I don't show up on camera.
In this moment of severity, you want to go pickpocketing. Go ahead and make a Wisp awareness.
I got 3.
3? There are no cameras.
I'm going to help Crescent.
Add a dice.
Yeah, well, I thought you want your money back. This was a terrible experience.
I mean,
seriously, 1 out of 5 stars. Would not come here again.
4 successes.
4 successes. As Grayson, you are kind of leaning against the wall at this point. Thoroughly exhausted, beaten, burned, very sharp, pointy piece of bone sticking out right by your neck, with a very heavy World War II era X soldier kind of slumped over you, who reeks, by the way, something fierce, to the point where you prefer the blood room. You look over to see Crescent and Acer diving through the room, scavenging wherever they can. After a bit, you guys find the knocked over poker table, and the pot's still there.
Ooh.
So, you don't have time to count it right now, but you kind of scrabble a massive wad of cash very quickly. Cash.
I'm just gonna fist bump Acer.
I just fist bump her back. I'm also going to just quickly look at the bar and just grab the most expensive looking alcohol and then just walk out.
You have no idea what expensive looking alcohol would look like. You're not, and with your street cred and your backstory, you're not one to know that. So you just grab a bottle that looks pretty.
I look for the fanciest looking bottle, like something that looks like gaudy, and I just grab it. I'm like, all right, this
works. It has a really pretty custom glass. There's no label. You don't know what it is. The liquor looks clear on the inside, but you grab it.
I don't know what this is, but I'm having it later. Let's go.
Whatever works, right? All right, let's go. You need help with that?
A little.
Okay, yeah.
I'm also going to take off my cloak. Since only the arm got torn off, there's still a lot there, and I'm going to kind of drape it over Malakoff.
It makes it a little bit cumbersome for Grayson to see very well, but it does cover the body as you guys kind of have to shimmy through the forward entry out of the glory pit into the main apartment stairs. As you guys are making it onto the surface street, the three of you can hear the sounds of sirens not too far in the distance.
Nope. Quick and pace.
That's
time to go. Yep, time to go.
Cool. All right, Rudy.
You see right across the street where you left him, there is still the white van. As you can see, as you guys are approaching, Rudy just barely peek up over the edge of the windowsill, just wide-eyed in fear.
Start the van now.
He just waves, and you hear their engine come to life.
As I am going to the back, and I'm basically like throwing Malakoff in there.
You actually land on the front of the bone, so you kind of shits all the way out to the back side of him. I just kind of lock him down onto the van itself. You look around just as that happens, and he goes, "Ah! Fucking hell! What the hell is that shit? Whoa! Why is there? Oh my god! What happened to you? What the fuck
Rudy,
is going on here?"
You might want to tell him.
Rudy.
Yeah.
Do me a favor.
Huh?
Just look forward and drive.
Forward and drive. Look forward and drive. Okay.
Forward and drive. That's it. Listen to me.
I'm gonna hop in the back. I'm gonna hop in the back and close the back doors to the van, and I'm just gonna sit on Malakoff.
I'm gonna have my gun on him the entire time, just as we're driving.
So I'm assuming Grayson takes shotgun.
I will take shotgun.
You gotta calm him down.
Can I, just a quick moment, can I look at and see the time?
You look at the time, and you realize you burnt your watch off.
Oh my god. So I take it, and no, I leave it on there, actually. And is there a clock on the dashboard?
There is.
Okay.
As you just sigh and look up, and you see it's about 9:30.
9:30?
You guys left. You guys PM. You guys left pretty fast, and you guys didn't
pretty early too. Yeah.
We're getting this done.
We're getting this done now.
Getting it done now. All right. We probably shouldn't. Well, never mind. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to give Rudy the directions.
Should we go see if Sarah's at your place though? Because we have to pick her up because she has to come to this thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
She said we'd meet her back.
I'm going to tell him, go back to the center now.
Maybe call Danica or something. I'll sit away.
But what about the...
But what? Look at me.
Yeah?
Rudy.
Yeah.
Just not leaving this. Don't worry about that. That's my problem. All you're going to do is take us to the center, grab one person. We're going to go. This is not going to be a problem. And that's it.
And we're not going to put him in the padded cell like the other one?
No, we're not. We're going to take care of it tonight. And then don't even look at it. Don't even worry about it.
He slowly turns his head and looks forward again until he's telling him not to look at it.
As I put my leather, I just kind of very gently hey, stay here.
What happened to your hand? As he looks over at your burnt up fucking hand.
So, Rudy, like I said, center first. Let's go.
Okay, center first. Okay.
Center first.
Okay. As he kicks it on and peels out, just as you guys begin to see the flashing red lights of a fire station begin to kind of come around the corners, you guys peel the hell out of there.
Fire station?
Sorry, fire trucks.
No, I know.
Hey, you know what?
I just had this image of a fire station, like a whole station pulling up.
The entire building just
the entire building coming up.
Stranger things have happened.
Yeah,
That's true.
this isn't cyberpunk.
All right, let's go.
Yep.
You all begin making your way very soon onto the highway, and you're not too far away from your treatment facility. In the meantime, Grayson, do you wish to contact anybody? You now have Malenkoff.
Do I still have the number for the prince?
You do, in fact.
I am going to give him a call.
You kind of have to, like, readjust your hand a little bit, which is your normal calling hand. You're like, pain. Go use the other one.
Wouldn't we want Sierra to call the prince?
Oh, he's got a point. Hang up the phone.
I'm gonna click end as soon as they're like, what do you mean? Why would?
Well, because it's her job to bring him in as a show that they can do what he ordered. If he finds out that we did it, that makes her look incompetent.
Yeah, it needs to look like she.
It doesn't need to look. She needs to be with us when it happens.
Like we were here to protect her, but ultimately she needs to be the one to bring him in.
Like, it's okay that we helped, and there's no problem saying that we helped, but she needs to be the one to turn him in.
But the prince said that we needed to contact him directly too.
Yeah. We'll contact him.
So we'll contact him when we get to Sierra.
Right.
For right now, call maybe Danica or Jackson.
Actually, I'm gonna call Jackson.
Okay. You bring the phone up and it. Hey, boss man, what are you doing?
Hey, Jackson, how's it going?
Pretty quiet night. Claire actually drew me a picture. It was really cute.
Oh, good. I'm really glad. Okay, good. Glad to hear it. Quick question for you.
Okay.
Sure. Did my other guest come by yet?
Oh yeah, she came back like 20 minutes ago.
Perfect. That's all I need to know. We're going to be back soon. If you see her, would you mind telling her to wait at the front? We're gonna do a little pickup.
Does Jackson have a coat?
Jackson, do you have an extra coat by chance?
Jackson's gonna kill me.
I got my duster. Yeah.
If we have any of those, do we have any of those old shirts from the fundraiser?
Like a lost and found?
Oh yeah, I got tons of those fucking things.
Perfect. Would you grab one of those? Just buddy here's a little cold. Or can you have Sierra bring it? My guest come out with it.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Any excuse to talk to the pretty Asian lady? Give her a shirt. Yeah. Sure. That's a great idea.
Perfect. Okay.
I'm just gonna hold 2 thumbs up.
Well, one.
Wait, 1 thumb up.
Great, Jackson. Appreciate that. We'll stop by and then we'll stop in.
I have to say though, this is really nice. The first time you're calling me, not telling me it's some kind of crazy emergency that you're just here to pick up a pretty girl, but the most normal call I've probably ever heard you actually give me.
Yeah, no problem, Jackson.
You're doing well for yourself. Glad to see things are kind of getting back to normal.
Me too, Jackson. Me too. All right, we'll see you in a bit.
All right, see you, boss. Click.
Bye. Click.
I have him on speed dial. I can ruin his entire day right now.
You say fucking word to my staff, I'm going to kick you
okay.
out of this van again.
All right, fair.
That was pretty fair.
It smell like blood in here, like a lot of blood.
Yeah.
I'm gonna kind of like hold out the alcoholic beverage and just be like, "This is for you for being, amazing." And
he snatches that shit out of your hand, holding one with. I don't care if I can fucking pull over this shit. He grabs the top of it, he bites and turns, and actually spits the actual lid out the window and begins chugging and driving at the same time. But one massive go was like, "Pop! Fuck!" You swerve a little bit back onto the road, sticks in the cup holder. Would you give me fucking nail polish remover?
Okay, first off, I gotta be honest. It looked like a really fancy bottle, and I wanted to get you something nice. I didn't think you'd fucking chug it.
Oh, okay. What bottle is that? Do I recognize it?
You kind of lean over and get a whiff. It's fucking moonshine.
Oh, Acer.
But it's a fancy bottle. It must be something good, right?
No, Digit. No, it's not. It's not.
Lean over and sniff the bottle.
It's moonshine. It is a type of liquor that you would find in somebody's basement, and you would question whether you want to try it or not.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow, you hit a real...
Wow.
Sorry, Rudy.
Rudy.
I'm not well versed in this kind of stuff. I'm good with wine, just not this.
Oh, I'm gonna be sick. As he actually does have to pull over, and you see him actually pull over very suddenly. He covers his mouth, kicks his door open, and runs over to the side of the guardrail. You just hear him blowing chunks.
No,
Okay.
we're not blaming you. Ace, I'm going to turn back to Acer. Are you okay? Holy shit.
I feel a bit of a draft.
He says a piece of flesh.
It's a lot roomier back here, though.
I mean, yes. I mean, there's. I mean, there is a lot of room, and I got to be honest. She is sitting on the side that doesn't have anything on there. So at this point, being arm lengths apart kind of means she has to sit a little closer.
Rudy, you all right over there?
No!
Come on, that was funny.
Yeah, hysterical. Sorry.
God, you're like the sound of one hand clapping.
Oh, just let him. He's not going to stop. I know what's happening.
Okay. Yep. This is how he deals with the trauma, right? He makes these jokes.
Yeah, just let him.
Gotcha.
Just let him.
All right. I don't blame him. It's okay, Acer. It's gonna grow back.
He's gonna slowly look over to Grayson.
Don't look back here.
Rudy, focus.
Raise.
Yes.
I want a fucking raise.
You have one.
A big one.
You have one.
This night went from fun to, I don't know what the fuck's in the back of this van. It now smells like death. It smells like blood. And your idiot tech tried to poison me with moonshine.
Technically.
Okay, Rudy, you and I both know that alcohol in itself is a poison. So, let's not mince words here.
He's going to slowly look to you with this most... You've never seen Rudy get this look. You've seen Rudy professional, chipper, optimistic. The look he gives you is the look that you've seen hardened criminals look to others when they're about to shiv them.
I mean,
Look,
if we're being fair,
maybe
I tried to do something nice. It was more an accident. Sorry.
Maybe we just find you a good chaser.
Dude, you're going to drain my account with all the raises you're giving out. I'm just going to kind of take the bottle and throw it out the window and just be like, yeah, we don't need that anymore.
Shatters here.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
This might be one of the strangest days we've ever experienced.
Indeed.
Ever.
Yeah.
And there's long, awkward silence.
Really got to hand it to you. I think you're right.
Because I'm just looking at my arm, just wait.
And as we fade away, I will remind you all that no one actually stopped to pick up Acer's arm.
I told you guys.
I forgot. I was kind of focused on picking up the giant mallet.
I wanted to do something nice for Rudy. I didn't think my arm was really an issue.
It's okay. It'll still grow back.
Yeah, but it would have grown back a lot sooner.
Well,
I think the main issue is now the police have my prints.
no, because it was still in the room when it was on fire. So.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, there's a bunch of body limbs in there. If anything, it just proves you're dead. Oh my god, your parents are gonna think you're dead.
Oh my! Oh no!
Okay.
Anyway.
Rudy just takes a very long sigh, pulls out onto the main exit towards the treatment facility. As you pull into the security gate, one of your security officers, he leans and goes, "Hey, Rudy, how you doing?" "Oh, Rudy, you don't look good." He's like, "Buddy, do not ask me any fucking questions. I don't want to hear anything. Just let me in. I'm picking somebody up." It's like, yeah, sure, boss. Thank you. Scrolls the window back up as the other attendant opens the gate for you, letting you in. Rudy pulls around to the front of the curb, where you do see actually Sierra holding a very oversized white baggy shirt, slightly confused, as you do see Jackson kind of hands in his jacket pockets, leaning to one side, just kind of smiling at her. It's like, so, having that bit of this, like, slightly flirtatious look, and Sierra looking mildly uncomfortable. Rudy kind of pulls up in front. Can I go home?
Can you just help us get this last part and then you can take the night?
Fine.
I mean, technically you could drive that way.
I don't.
I'll drive. It's fucking fine. I'll drive. So you pop the van doors open and poke her out, and Sarah goes, "Oh, Crescent, you are my ride." And Gus goes, "Yeah, well, we could talk later. You know, maybe a movie date, see Blade or something. I hear it's classics. Halloween tomorrow."
Jackson, honey, she's not interested. Thanks.
I was just trying to keep a lady company, okay? Like, don't need to be hostile.
You did a good. Hey, I'd give him the.
He just kind of gives you that as well, and slowly turns and just think about it. I make great popcorn. And he starts walking back up the stairs. Sierra, looking very awkward, kind of clutches the very large, oversized East Side Second Chance shirt, and kind of walks over the back of the van and goes, "Cresso, oh my God!"
Oh, you have my shirt. And I just grabbed the shirt. Thanks.
So you take it from her as she just takes the scene. She's like, oh, he looks over to Acer. Oh my God. Looks over to you, Crescent and Grayson. Oh no, my God.
Yeah,
hello. It's so good to see you. Please come in.
Yeah, I'm just gonna scoot over into the middle so that she can come. Just come right here.
I'm still sitting on Malakoff.
So Acer's over here on Malakoff. I'm in the middle.
Sierra kind of steps into the van, sitting close to you, doing what she can to like not touch Malakoff, as she kind of gets so close, like, you. That's actually. Oh my God.
We're going to take care of this now, if you don't mind.
Okay.
So how did the police station go? How did Oh, right. Hi, Rudy.
Rudy goes, "What about the police station?"
You
Boss, what's she talking about?
Rudy, I asked her to go to the police station and pick some stuff up for me.
Oh, that, Aaron. Yeah, no, I took care of that. I got your stuff and left it on your desk.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you.
We're going to go out, make this stop, and then after we come back here, you are good for the night.
Okay, and where am I driving to? Or am I just driving?
You remember how I was telling you about the hierarchy?
Yes.
We need to go meet them. So I'm going to tell you to drive, and I'll tell you where to turn and whatnot. Right?
Okay. You're the boss. Fine. Yeah, fuck it. Okay. So, Grayson, as you begin pulling out of the exit facility back onto the main road, they're kind of squeaking a little bit with now being practically full of individuals and a very large, torpid Malakoff. Who do you call?
I'm going to call the prince.
With your one good hand, you dial the number, pull up your phone. You hear a unfamiliar voice like, Douglas's office, how can I help you?
Hello. I would like to send a message to Dragos, letting him know that his compatriots have a delivery for him.
Can I ask who is delivering what?
This will be a Miss Sierra.
Okay, one moment. As you hear sir, there's apparently someone's delivering. Are you expecting like a Sierra? Oh, what? Oh, I'm sorry. You hear a loud thud. Something drop. Who the fuck is this? As you hear Dragos' voice.
Grayson, my prince.
Ah, Grayson, my boy. What news do you have to me about La Sombra?
We have a delivery for you if you will have us.
As in, she was successful?
She was, in fact. She is with us now.
Fascinating. Fair enough. I was expecting to set this up tomorrow, but I can make a few calls and get this taken care of tonight, if you so wish.
Of course, I wish it not to be a burden on you, my prince.
Oh, that's very thoughtful. All right. Well, I'm going to give you an address. You shall take the VIP as well as her tribute. We'll go ahead and take care of this tonight. I do love surprises. Thank you for not disappointing me, Mr. Holland. I'll make note of that. I need you to go ahead and take them down over to the North Gate State Preserve. And we'll handle this there. Just drive all along the trail and meet the others there. You'll know where to go from there.
Yes, sir. We'll have it taken care of.
I'll see you soon, Mr. Holland. Click. You would know, in fact, where this trail is, as this is almost the same area where you had almost died had it not been for that park ranger saving your life, Grayson.
And with that, I will turn to the rest of them and say, we have a heading. And I'm going to turn to Rudy, and I am going to give him the directions. Tell him to follow the tracks.
Yes, sir. As he continues to drive down the road, there's a certain coldness in Rudy all of a sudden. But at the same time, despite his obvious irritation, you command, and he follows. But you all continue down the road. Ace, you're doing your best to try to stay as comfortable as you can, but man, you're in a lot of pain. Even as you kind of change your shirt out to kind of help cover that now gaping wound on the side of your chest. Holy fuck, it hurts. You've never experienced pain like that before. You've been burned by acid, nearly blew yourself up several times. Almost shot your own damn foot off the first time you held a gun, but to have that happen to you. You could feel the cold air against your insides as the sanctity of your body has been ruptured. It is horrific, to say the least. Malenkov sits underneath you, a soggy, wet heap of filth. The van quickly filling with a very uncomfortable stench that by the time you all begin to enter into the Northgate territory, you are finding that you are having to cover your noses as his odor just proliferates, mingled with the now rotting stench of decay and death. Even Rudy is having to drive with one hand as he leans out the open window, trying to breathe calmly, probably still nauseous from the moonshine. It is a tense and uncomfortable ride as Crescent, you look at Sierra to see that she's just staring wide-eyed at him. Every now and then she kind of takes her foot and just kind of taps him ever so often, and he doesn't move, and she just stares wide-eyed. I can't believe you guys actually did it.
Did you doubt us?
I mean, no, but you have to understand, he's been through a lot.
Yeah.
He's murdered other princes before. And you guys brought him down.
Other princes?
Malenkov's nickname was the Khan, as in Genghis Khan. Tally, this isn't the first time that Malenkov has gone off the deep edge. And Tally, I don't know the full story, but he would frequently send Malenkov to the front lines of whatever Sabbat conflict that was happening against the Camarilla, and he has carved warpaths off the East Coast, the West Coast, the southern border. He has attacked the Camarilla very frequently. It's not the first time he has carved his way into the heart of a city and dispatched a prince.
And yet they sent him with you?
I was the expert in diplomacy. He's the expert in war. I just apologize. I don't mean ill will. I'm just in shock that none of you are dead. I mean, granted, yes, you are... I am sorry about your arm. As she looks over to you, Acer. That looks like it hurts.
Immense pain, but I'm trying not to focus on it.
I'm just in shock as all. I guess that's all I can really say. Oh, wow. She takes her foot and just tilts his head over, and his jaw kind of slacks open, and she gaspes a bit. He actually fucking did it. He let himself do it.
Yeah, I've been meaning to ask, what is up with this? Is that something everyone can do, or is it just specifically you guys? And is that dangerous?
She looks over to you, Crescent. You can see a very solemn expression in her face.
I'm not looking at her.
And she just kind of shakes her head and goes, This is Malenkoff, but he is now what you would call a white.
And what exactly is a white?
Does that name ring a bell?
Vaguely, but not necessarily specifically. As you've heard the term Birchall use it in passing before, but you never really got a chance to ask him more details about it. But that thought is quickly salvaged as Sierra just takes a long sigh. Acer, a white is something that all of us have the potential to become. All of us, even thin bloods.
Okay.
You know, how should I explain this? You know how sometimes when you have to do something really bad, like you've hurt somebody because you had to feed, and yes, it feels good, but sometimes, rarely, you wake up the next night and you feel a little emptier, a little colder, where you know you should feel guilty. Like, logically, you know you should, but you don't. In fact, it's a little relieving in a scary way that you don't.
I want to say yes, but has Acer ever felt that before?
Consider that you have failed your first humanity check back in the prologue, yes.
Okay. Then he's going to shake his head and be like, yeah, I'm unfortunately very familiar with that feeling, and I don't like it one bit.
Well, it's a double-edged sword. Because that feeling, that numbness, that's you being closer to what we really are. That's you taking a step closer to the beast that lives within all of us. And to a certain degree, reaching a middle ground through beast is not necessarily bad. Sometimes it can have minor effects where you just don't walk around quite as human. Things don't bother you as much. Petty problems that usually get you irritated or angry doesn't bother you. You don't really care as much about things like sex or drinking or give a crap about what other people think. You become a bit clearer. One would say this is a portion of your humanity dissolving away due to what we are. The problem is, it doesn't stop there. If you're not careful and you don't maintain a certain semblance of control of yourself, you could give too much into your nature and become feral. You can care less and less and less and less, and to the point where eventually you will care so little about what human life means. And there's a lot of theory as to what causes a white. Unfortunately, it's not uncommon to happen with the Sombra due to our nature. That's eventually your beast takes over entirely. You become fast, strong, almost unkillable, but you're no more than a raging animal, driven by nothing but the bloodlust and the hunger to feed, rest, and feed again. You become your beast, and that's what a white is. It is nothing but the beast inside. You think that we're monsters. This, as she looks over to Malenkoff, this is what a real monster looks like. And it's a fear that every kindred, no matter how old, strives to do everything they can to avoid if they can help it. There's little you can do for an individual once they become a white besides take its head off.
I see.
Acer, I understand just the way you are and the few things you've said and the way I've seen you the past couple of days, that you don't necessarily look at your situation as a gift, but just remember, we do what we have to because we have to. But that doesn't mean that we're all bad, necessarily. Sometimes we have to do bad things. But also, sometimes that makes some of us more morally aligned than some humans. Humans just get a slap on the wrist and they can make up for it tomorrow. We have eternity to think about.
A gift? And he kind of just looks back at the light. No. This is a straight up curse. No matter how you look at it. But I suppose now's a good time to say that I do owe you an apology. All three of you an apology, really. Look, yeah, you're right. And it's no secret that I absolutely loathe this thing that I am. And by proxy, everyone else around me who is also this thing. But Crescent and Grayson saved my life, and the way I see you fighting so hard for your people, it kind of reminds me of my family, so you're right in one thing. Maybe I was a little too harsh on all kindred, as you guys call them. And I apologize for thinking of you as this, as I kind of gesture over to Malakoff again. I suppose there's always darker places. Regardless, I judged all of you before, and I'm sorry.
Sierra nods. Kind of shrugs. The way I see it, Acer, when I personally appreciate your apology, just remember, just because you think of us as monsters, you as a monster, humans aren't really much different either. At the end of the day, and for us at the end of the night, a lot of us are just trying to find our way to survive, just like anybody else. We just have it a little bit harder.
I'll keep that in mind. Thank you.
Not much longer now.
He begins kind of pulling up off the exit way onto some main surface streets, where you do see he begins taking some normalized streets that start to grow a bit more rustic, leaving off the paved streets onto a dirt trail. Turning his high beam on, he does begin driving through the darkened interior of this national park.
Well, I hope this helps you out. I really do.
She kind of leans over his face a bit, kind of tossing him inside. I just hope that his appearance doesn't speak badly out of the rest of us.
Well, why would it if anyone can become this? I mean, I could see if it was just your clan, but...
Because the Sombra are more likely to have it happen. She looks slowly over to Crescent.
How so? Why is it that your clan is more likely?
Should I tell him or shall you? Because I know you felt it too, sister.
I personally don't care to talk anymore tonight.
The Sombra are very powerful, Acer. But our powers come at a cost. Have you seen Crescent be able to hurt things very badly? Or spy through the darkness? Or even vanish from sight?
I've seen her be able to vanish, but I thought that was more like a, walk quickly out of someone's eyesight.
Sierra slowly begins tilting her head at you as you see the irises of her eyes begin to grow, filling up her entire eye space as she lifts a small hand. As she does, you see a small tendril shadow pull out from her shadow in front of her like a tentacle and snap right in front of your face.
Okay. That's interesting.
It retracts right back into her shadow. She blinks open her eyes again.
Gonna look at Crescent really quick and just be like, can you do that?
Not particularly. Not that.
That one's a bit of a more of an advanced technique. But what they call this is oblivion. The void. The nothing. No one is quite sure what it is, but many, many especially within the La Sombra community, believe that this is where kindred go when they die. To the black void where nothing exists. But that's where we draw our strength from. This oblivion, as we call it, gives us our strength. However, the oblivion is strong. Sometimes it takes a piece of us with it every time we use it. It is more common for La Sombra to become a white because the oblivion feeds upon the darkness that we already have.
Well,
That's why Malenkoff was able to sever your arm from your body with just a touch. It felt like he probably carved through you, but in reality, he just touched you. And she just gently touches your forehead, just like that. That's how powerful oblivion is. Rudy holds on a bit as you kind of feel the van kind of teeter, and he sighs, pulling into a stop. About as far as I can take a van, the rest is a walking trail.
Okay, and this is the part where we part past, Rudy. I need you to stay around. Matter of fact, if you want, just go. Don't go too far, but just... I'll call you when we need you again, okay?
You know what, I might as well just save the time and stay right fucking here. I feel like if I walk outside these woods, I'm gonna get my fucking head ripped off by all the shit you guys been talking about.
Anyone comes up here, tell them you are Mr. Grayson. They'll know.
You got it, boss. I'll be here.
Thank you, Rudy.
Yeah.
out of slight curiosity, do you have something to defend yourself with, just in case they don't like following the rules?
He sighs as he reaches up to the side, and on the hood of the car, he puts down his pistol.
Good. Okay, cool.
He's resourceful, trust me.
Yeah. Oh, hit them enough times with that, I'm sure they'd go into torpor, but a very quick way is just to right through the heart.
He slowly turns and sits on the hood of the car. Doesn't say anything.
I'm going to go in the back and I'm going to take Malenkoff out, and I'm going to holster him on my shoulder again. And look back to the rest of my coterie.
Yeah, okay. Let's do this. And we're out in the woods, right? It doesn't look like anyone's around.
You guys hop out of the back of the van. Grayson kind of shoulders Malenkoff. Go ahead and make a wits plus awareness roll.
Okay. 4.
4 successes. So, this is what you do notice. As you all begin kind of getting yourselves together and make your way down the trail, you do notice something, Acer. As you hear your footsteps crunching in the soil beneath you. The gentle sound of rain lightly falling all around you, leaving this forest feeling quiet and clean. But you can hear multiple sets of footsteps. And it's not long as you guys begin walking, you see 2 individuals step out of the woodwork into your path. And you just have to look behind you as 2 more step behind you as well. Hey, pretty boy! As you hear the voice of Genghis. As him and 3 others kind of step through the darkness closer, flanking you on each side. Got a big fish tonight, huh?
Yep.
See, that fish had some good bite. Kind of gestures over to Acer.
What are the odds that they're actually here as the escort?
50-50, if I'm being optimistic.
Sweet.
Well, here's the funny thing about that. We're here to provide you a service. We're going to go ahead and take that sumbitch off your back for you. You see where the woman next to him just kind of sighs. Genghis, shut the fuck up. But no, seriously, shut the fuck up. She sighs as she steps forward. Mr. Holland? You see a woman in front of you. She is more of an ebony skin, dark black lipstick, heavy eyeliner, short kind of pixie cut hair that's faded on one side, tossed over, a myriad of tattoos that go along the front of her arms, various different gang signs, symbols, scars, what have you, a few rings here and there, and a single black tattoo that goes down the center of her lip like a stripe. As she looks over you, she's about maybe 5'5", real short, petite woman, but as she kind of crosses her arms and kind of flexes a little bit, you can see that she's definitely used to making herself look bigger in front of anybody else. She leans to one hip with a bit of a sharp attitude.
I don't think I've had the pleasure.
I've seen you at the Elysium, but we didn't talk. It's hard to get a word in with this fucking blowhard constantly blowing hot air. Hey, you again, shut the fuck up, Genjis. God damn, you just like to run your goddamn mouth, don't you? You realize that the prince is nearby. We're still under Elysium. This is above you right now, okay? Can it? Brigadier just kind of rolls his eyes. Esmal Davis.
Bow my head slightly to her.
She kind of tilts a little bit. It ain't no big fucking shock. We don't like the way things are going. And we're not Cameron. We're Anarch. The four of us and quite a few others. And we've been keeping little tabs on you. This past couple nights, past couple weeks, and all the shit you all have been up to. And I gotta say, me and quite a few of the other Anarchs are, we're a little impressed. So I'm just gonna spell it out real clean. We want you to join us. And that big old hunk of meat on your back is your entry ticket. Making you an offer. Yeah, him.
Do you understand what this is?
Oh, yeah, we definitely fucking understand what that is. That's the Anarch fucking meal ticket of bringing that ivory tower down to the fucking ground. Imagine this. You let that sumbitch go. You let him rip and tear through these streets. And one by one, he cuts through the ivory tower, piece by piece. Before you know it, it all comes crumbling down. For good. And you guys will get to be ahead of it all. With us. As Anarch. Except her. Not her. She basically points to Sierra. This doesn't include her. She's a fucking coward. Sierra just kind of furrows her brow at her. Oh, don't give me that, lady. I know for a fucking fact you didn't have the fucking gall to go after your brother. We've been keeping tabs. You scuttled your way off to the police station to do some handmaid's business while they did the heavy lifting, and your friend literally lost an arm for it. And judging by looking at your other friend, she points to you, Grayson, looks like he got burned in the process. So, no, this doesn't go to you. This goes to them. I don't give a fuck what happens to you. The rest of you. Hand him over. Join the Anarch movement. Help us bring Seattle back to the kindred, for the kindred. Not because some cammie thinks they can decide what to do with our lives. It's our lives. We have a right to live them how we see fit.
You know, a few days ago, if you would have offered that proposal, I probably would have said yes in a heartbeat. I gotta be completely honest. I really, really hate kindred. Myself included. But, recently I've been seeing them in a different light. So, if it's all right with you, I'm gonna go ahead and say no. Besides, as I kind of point to Sierra, we're not really fighters. So, if we can just deliver the package, we'd be good to go.
Oh, I know you're no fighter, boy. I know you like tech. See, I'm just going to spell this out if I wasn't clear enough. The Anarch movement is alive, and we don't play by the cammie's rules. We don't chain ourselves down. You think that you're the only boy in this whole damn city that knows what the fuck to do with a computer?
Hell no.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty fucking good at my job.
Yeah. Till some gangrel tore you in half.
like I said, not a fighter, but I
And
point to
wouldn't it-
Grayson and Crescent.
She just said
I have friends.
she
And
just-
wouldn't it be nice if we could help each other?
How exactly are you going to help me? Because I let this sucker go. The first thing he's going to do is come for me. How does that help me?
I can guarantee you pulled that bone out of his chest. All he's going to remember is that he needs to go find something to eat. If you're at nearby, you ain't going to be his problem. But I'm telling you this. You hand him over, you become anarchs. What I said, sweeten the deal. I'll give you all the glory pit. Because that's actually an anarch fucking territory. Your border comes right up to us. Gen just made that perfectly clear when he said that he struck a deal with him. Whether you accept this deal or not, you still got to honor that deal. But that's your problem. What I'm saying is, I can give y'all some territory. I can vouch for you. That's another side business. Get some actual cash flow. Get networking. Find you information. You'd be surprised what the anarchs can dig up, give us enough time. And yeah, we roughed you around. But that's everybody, baby. When it comes to the anarchs, the strong survive. And sometimes you gotta have a few licks before you really are considered something that's worth their shit. And by golly, you guys are. For real. That man, that thing on your back, that's one hell of a monster. The reputation to boot. So, final offer. Join the anarchs. Come with us. Leave her to whatever the fuck they're gonna do to her. She's holding you back anyway. Come over to the side that knows what's right for this city and help us tear down that fucking tower for good. That way we can be free and not what they choose for us to be.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with Paige. Thanks. Glitch? Titan?
She slowly looks over to you two. He didn't speak for all of you. Someone's got to have some common sense.
No.
Looks over to you, Grayson.
I look over to Genghis. No, thank you. I'll see you later, though.
Genghis just smiles. Oh, yes, you will. While David just kind of leans back and sighs. She kind of fixes her hair a little bit. Well, to say I'm disappointed would be an understatement. I really thought we could be friends. But I guess you can't take the cam out of kindred. They'll always be their bitch. And she just walks by and shoulder checks you, Grayson, as they just walk on by. Leave you all in the dark.
As soon as she shoulders me, I right myself and I keep walking.
As soon as they're out of earshot, I'm just going to look at them and be like, great, so now we have that to worry about.
We already did. They just decided to be a little bit more upfront this time. How very...
That person said something.
You heard it?
Gangrel?
Indeed.
She just confirmed her theory.
She did.
That's what you thought I was, right?
That's what I theorized, yes. And I have to thank her.
How does she know, though? That's my question.
Well, we saw the...
Well, if she's been keeping tabs on us, then she would know that during the Elysium that I fought one of those things, but she said the one that tore me up. Now, correct me if I'm mistaken. I never fought that person for that long.
You did
And
not.
if she said the one that tore me up, there's really only one other gangrel I encountered in my lifetime.
One that turned you.
But she knows.
She might.
Or she might have a little bit of information that she's using to dangle in front of you to get your attention.
He's just kind of look off to where they were walking away and just be like, well, she now has my full attention. Let's get this over with.
Yes. I'm actually going to pull out my phone in the meantime
I'm going to call Rudy and tell him to avoid any raggedy-looking assholes.
He does pick up and... You're the boss. You guys, the only one getting inside this fucking van.
Just if you see any thuggish types.
Thuggish types. Yeah, like I haven't seen those before.
Yes, but these ones are much more troublesome. More of our disposition. Just take a drive around. We'll give you a call.
You got it, boss. I'll be back in 20. I'm gonna go get a snack.
Thank you, Rudy. And I hang up.
You guys continue walking your way down the trail. It's ominously quiet for quite a bit. Grayson, you know this trail pretty well. It takes a few highs and lows and twists and turns, and in this moonlit night, even with the rain coming down here and there, it is a gorgeously peaceful night. It's not long, though, that you all begin to hear the noises of a gathering. People talking quietly, voices here and there. You guys continue to follow that path. Before long, it opens onto a massive lake that overlooks this area. At the very height of this lake, coming down to the coast area, you see an area that's being very hastily set up with battery-operated torches and string lights that illuminate this area dully, flickering every now and then near Crescent. A small stage is being piled up where you see Perseus, in fact, with several other very large kindred, ripping trees out of the ground and snapping them in half. One by one, they begin to pile this wood together into a very large pile. As this goes on and you all begin to get closer, coming to view, you see Damien. So they kind of rush in the middle of the crowd and he shouts, "Everybody listen up! Yeah, everybody! The Elysium's fucking canceled! We're not doing this! The Sombra are a threat! This cannot take place any further. We are not fucking doing this. I'm sick and tired of pretending like it's okay when it's not. This is absolute gut!" As you see Dragos very hastily walks in the middle of the crowd, puts his hand on the back of his neck, and he leans in. And you see him whisper something as you all kind of begin to approach into clearing that makes Damien's face go white. He just nods and Dragos shoves him off. As Damien kind of wanders off in the other crowd, Prince goes, "Ignore that! Everyone fucking ignore that. We're doing this now. We're handling this now. Everyone get back to work. They'll be here. Actually, they're actually here. Welcome! You give us a few moments. Just kind of hang around, mingle, my wonderful guests of honor, Sierra Von Buris, and the rest of you. We're going to get this underway in a few moments." The prince actually does kind of beeline away, but then kind of come back around and comes and approaches all of you. "So, I need you all to do me a favor, and this is kind of unorthodox. I will take him," as he points to Malenkoff. "I need you to fucking take care of Damien. Take some fucking sense into him. He is in a unique position. He is my sheriff. He's supposed to keep track of my laws. I strung up the Malkavian Primogen because he was obviously defecting. He was treason. I could do that. If you want any chance of this fucking going off, I suggest you go talk to Damien and get this taken care of and give him some reason to believe that he should not try to go behind my back and call a fucking blood hunt for every fucking La Sombra in this damn community because he's blown his fucking lid. And while yes, I could probably subdue him into a fucking bloody pulp, but I would rather have my sheriff on my side. Get what I'm putting down?"
Yes. See if we can talk to him.
"Thank you." He just kind of reaches over and, "Here, give me..." Oh, God, he's fucking ugly. He stinks, too.
My prince, he had that long before he turned, as I very carefully, heaved the corpse over to him, or the body.
As Grayson gives him the corpse, I'm going to quickly just kind of take my coat and just be like, "That's mine."
He kind of takes a step back from his, snaps a few times and points over. As you can see, two of the larger kindred individuals that were busy tearing apart some of this forest come over and they both kind of heave Malenkov one arm over off of you, Grayson, finally letting you straighten your back and begin dragging him over to the pile of wood.
And Damien is he nearby?
He has stepped off a bit and he seems to be commingling with a smaller group of kindred.
Let me see what I can do.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to want to talk to Zara or I.
Right. Let me take care of it. Let me see. Maybe I can talk to him.
Yeah.
I will go over to where Damien is.
You kind of compose yourself as you begin making your way over, and before you approach, you end up getting within earshot some of what Damien's saying to the smaller group. And you hear him say, okay, listen, this is fucking bullshit, and we all know it. Dragos has lost his fucking mind. I've been covering his ass this whole fucking time, but you are my hounds. You listen to me. We are going to take care of this shit tonight. If this passes, we're going to go fucking murder every single fucking lizard. As soon as you come up, he goes, what do you want?
Do you mind if I talk to you privately for a moment, Sheriff, if that's possible?
Kind of takes a moment, looks back at his hounds, one of which is Alexa the Scourge, who has her arms crossed and is taking this whole thing in, not really saying much. I think whatever you can say to me, you can say in front of my coworkers, my associates. They listen to me.
Fair enough. I know it doesn't mean much coming from me, but if I can I'm going to be as transparent as I can, because this night has been long. What is going on? I'm not asking about the prince, but you specifically.
What's going on is I've had enough. And many other like me have had enough. Drago is off his fucking rocker. If he thinks it's okay to bring fucking La Sombra into the Camarilla, I've gone to bat for him and covered his ass on so many things. Allowing him to just sunlight 3 kindred, fledglings, mind you. These were freshly turned kindred. And the Malkavian Primogen, all because they had a different opinion. And you know how he is. He strong-arms everybody. I've watched him strong-arm you and your entire coterie into business that you had no business taking care of. I should have been one taking care of this, and he threw it onto you because of some fucking game. He's insane.
No, he didn't throw it on to us. You are the sheriff. You are his right hand. You are the stability. You and as I pointed to the hounds, you all are. You are our security. We can't provide that. We're fledglings. For God's sake, we haven't even been turned that long. But you all have the status, the long-standing figure. The La Sombra, I understand. But they're not. I have one with me, and I trust her with my life. She has saved mine.
And she's never hurt you, never turned against you, and bit the hand.
Tendencies. She has, but you know what? We came to an understanding because we are kindred. Because in the end, we are what we are.
So that answers my question. She has turned against you.
She has.
And what makes you think the rest of the Sombra won't do the same? Even this wild, crazy plan of his works. There's no guarantee they're going to be loyal to us. They're just buying their own survival. And what happens when they outnumber us? You fought Malenkov face to face, obviously. And you saw the kind of damage he's done. He gestures over to Acer. Look at your fucking friend. I don't even know what the fuck happened. And I could tell right there that he's missing a damn limb. And I don't think I didn't notice that pretty little number on your hand either. And granted, I saw what you looked like 3 or 4 nights ago when I started this whole bullshit. And guess what? That wasn't my choice. Dragos forced me to. I wanted to pick somebody else. I wanted Alexis, and as well as a few other of my people, to take care of this whole delegation thing. But he wanted to give it to you. Specifically you. And he would not listen to reason. And look what happened. Every single night that I've checked on you and seen you, you've come in looking worse and worse and worse. Do you think Dragos gives a shit about any of us? This is a fucking game to him. And frankly, I've had enough. And so has the rest of my crew. Right, guys? You see as he actually turns back, one of the hounds nods his head pretty affirmatively. One doesn't do anything. And Alexis just kind of tilts her head at him and crosses her arms. Not really reacting either. Go ahead and make a charisma plus insight.
Charisma and insight, okay. 2 successes.
2 successes. Just looking around the space, just for a quick moment, you see an overall submission of will. These hounds are following Damien, for sure. But do they really agree with him? You're not convinced. Not, at least not all of them.
First time Grayson takes off his glasses, puts them away. Damien, my sheriff. Hounds, apologize if I don't address you properly. That is my ineptitude with such things. However, when she did this, it was because she was upset. These other of our own kind rebel against us. And not only do they spit in our faces. And here they are, and here we have the La Sombra, a clan who is powerful, strong, feared, willing to bend the knee here and now. Shamed. What are the By the way, I would just like to say, the Anarchs, they just happen to have approached us on the way here.
Alexis kind of steps forward. You want to run that by me again?
I would love to. Apologize. The Anarchs, I would assume a leader, and Genghis had approached us on their way here. Would you like to know their deal with us? We refused, obviously.
She slowly turns her head to Damien, who does not look pleased with this entire situation, but she goes, yes, actually, we would like to know what the fucking Anarchs want the hell to do with a bunch of neonates.
Oh, well, they wanted us, and they wanted, as I point over to Malenkov, they wanted us and that.
Why?
Simple. They take that thing out of his chest. He goes on a rampage, destroys every little bit that we are trying to build up for structure. And why choose us? Because me, a Tremere, 2 La Sombra, and a Thin Blood. My coterie member, we did that. Because we see with the Camarilla, there is a structure that can be had. A common goal for us kindred.
Go ahead and make a charisma plus persuasion.
1 crit.
So 4 successes.
4 successes.
And it's clean?
It was clean. Close, but...
you see Alexis... While Damien seems very stern, it's hard to read his face. He's been very relaxed around you guys many a times, but right now there's a hardened face on him that you can't really penetrate through. But Alexis kind of tilts her head. She kind of puts a hand on Damien's shoulder and just leans in and says, like, listen, Damien, I know you got a beef with La Sombra, but there's one thing you can't deny. If 2 La Sombra, a Tremere, and a fucking Thin Blood, who's missing an arm but alive, can take down the Khan, yeah, that's 4v1. But if the rest of them are as loyal and as devoted as Sierra is, and to buy their way in, we'd have enough firepower to add a few more sheriffs to our rank and crush this fucking Anarch nonsense for good in Seattle. Damon kind of leans back, looks over to Grayson, and he gets right in your face.
I stare at him and I'm blinking.
So you're telling me that if I were to let this happen, because right now between you and me, I'm not saying I'm going to do anything, But let's just say an accident happens where Drago is now removed from making the decisions around here right now. And I happen to miss it. And I wouldn't feel bad about it. Let's just say that happens. You're saying a better alternative to that situation and letting us have to pick up the pieces and come to our senses is to bring the Sombra into our fold to serve what purpose for the Camarilla? What do you think they fit in? In your experience, it's obviously you've now become such an expert, even though you're so fucking young. Where do you think the Sombra deserve to be in the Camarilla? What do you think they deserve to do? What purpose do you think they have?
I believe that for now they deserve the second chance to at least be considered for the Camarilla. I think this is a great sacrifice that Sierra is making right now to prove in front of all of us they are willing to try.
Go ahead and give me another charisma and persuasion.
3 successes this time.
3 successes. As you're saying this, you do see the other hounds behind him, the 3 others. They kind of look to each other. You see some muttering and some nodding. Even the one that's seen very starkly with Damien is kind of leaning her head and just watching you, and she seems to be thinking. Damien kind of looks to Alexis, who kind of shrugs. Look, I don't necessarily like the La Sombra any more than you do, Dame. I really don't. I think they're crazy. But here's the thing. If they're willing to kill each other to get into the cam, it kind of does our job for us, wouldn't you think? And the ones that make it, who says we can't keep an eye on them? Just because they're in doesn't mean they're in. They have to deal with us now. And I'm sorry, but I don't care what La Sombra thinks they are. I'll kick their ass up way to Sunday, and I'll eat their fucking heart out if I had to. Why not let them kill each other for a little while, and the ones that are loyal stick around? I think it's better than doing some kind of fucking coup. Dragos may be a lot of things, but he has worked for a very short amount of time a lot better than the democratic barons did. Seems like Camarilla may be going back to its roots. Maybe it's time to get a leg up. Come on, Damien, don't be stupid. You're in charge, but I think this neonate is making some fucking sense. Damien kind of stretches up, giving you a bit of breathing room. You don't think Dragos is off his rocker. You think he's actually making some fucking sense, and he's not just clinically fucking insane.
I look up to him. Well, we are Tremere. However, I think he has been under quite a bit of pressure. I mean, do you see the events that have been going on, one after the other, immediately, almost in
all because
procession.
Of him and the idea of letting us Sombra into Seattle. Things are running fine without them.
Fine wouldn't mean that a bus drove into us while I was trying to bring this delegate here. Fine is cannot be anarchs being able to cordon us off in the street and think it is okay.
Alexis kind of, he's got a point. Shut up. I think you've helped enough. She kind of puts both her hands up. He's leaning back. Fine. Okay. I hear your point, Mr. Holland. I do.
Thank you.
I don't like it. However, one thing I will give you, and you're the Sombra friend. She did have the guts to get Genghis to shut the fuck up during the Elysium. And got in between a really potentially messy brawl that I would have had to break up. Look, this is the way I see it. I'm not going to do anything tonight. I think Dragos is fucking insane, but guess what? He's my boss. So I say this. You do what you're going to do. I'm going to listen to Dragos tonight. And double check and make sure he's trying to rip my fucking head off because I decided to think for myself for about 10 fucking seconds and try to take care of shit for him. But just so you know, you weren't intended to be a part of this. You and your friends, your coterie, you call it. This is way above you. The fact is that you're intermingling with things that you have no place in is beyond me, and only just further validates what I feel. So whatever happens tonight, I'm going to let it happen. But let somebody do make it into the camp, and one rips your pretty little friend's neck out, just remember that we had this talk, and you could have helped me prevent it. But hopefully I'm wrong, right?
Hopefully you are wrong, with all due respect.
Yeah. For your sake, I really hope I am. Come on. He turns his back. Apparently got some fucking work to do. And him and his hounds begin to squat and move off before Alexis kind of stops a bit and turns to look at you. She smiles. And then she turns back and joins the rest.
Well, smirk as he gives a small bow to her as well.
Which leaves you alone as you look back to see what are the rest of you doing.
I'm assuming that my trench coat just had all that stank on it, so I
it rakes.
You're just going to see Acer like dipping his coat into a lake and rubbing it against a rock to try and clean it.
It doesn't help. You get the state, you get some of the blood off it for sure, but even with the darkened cloak, that is now shredded on one side, mind you.
As cool as that looks when my arm comes back in, come on, seawater, I need you to do your thing for me.
Well, this is a lake and it's fresh water, and it does help some of the staining. You can see some of the leftover remains of the gore and blood kind of flecking and rinsing off, but the smell persists and it's still filthy.
As he just brings it out and sniffs it like, damn it. Whatever. And he keeps rubbing it against the rock.
In the meantime, Crescent, what are you doing as you're kind of in the middle of all of this?
I'm just going to silently wait. To see if I can eavesdrop on things. Just going to be quiet and observe.
Okay, go ahead and give me a wits and awareness roll, please.
2 successes. That was not that good.
2 successes.
Yeah, I'm distracted.
You stay relatively close to Sierra and kind of looking around, you realize that this area is growing eerily quiet. It's much different than the Elysium within the Succulus Club. It is tense here. It's very tense at the sudden arrangement of the meeting as the moon keeps coming in and out of view between the rain clouds that are slowly but surely dampening everybody. In a normal situation, the battery-powered lights, the slight backdrop of the moon, and the drizzly sky would have been probably the most relaxing setting you could ever imagine in your mortal life. But right now is just a testament to the stress and anxiety that you've all dealt with up until now, especially you. As you see, looking over Perseus, as well as a few of the other kindred individuals helping him flatten out the wood pile ever so bit. Perseus taking a very large wooden chunk of tree and slamming it straight to the center, almost like a pyre pole. And piece by piece, they hold Malenkoff up to the pole as they string him up on it, tying him to the pyre, completing it.
So this is how it ends, huh?
Sarah just kind of shakes her head. Not yet.
Not yet.
Look around as she looks over at the crowd, as you can see from where you're at. There are a lot of kindred here, and not just average kindred. You recognize some of the faces of some primogens. You don't know them personally or their names, but you see various clans huddled together. In fact, you see all the clans kind of huddled together in one way or another. You see Ventru talking with each other, where you actually get to catch a flash of curly brown hair of Erica. She seems to be talking with somebody. You see Tremere all gathered round their chantry. Their primitive Marcus, dark African skin, white tribal paint, and they all seem to be briefly talking. Bruja, Malkavian, who seem to be extremely cluttered as they seem to be having almost a bit of a small panic as they don't have a primogen anymore. They seem to be trying to organize something going on with that, but practically all the clans are here, and any representative that belongs to those clans. Even the caitiff, the clanless, the only ones that aren't really having representation are the Thinbloods. As Acer, as you can tell based on what you know, he's the only Thinblood here. As he is feverishly scrubbing his cloak against a rock in the lake.
This would be so much easier with 2 arms.
It's honestly kind of a sad sight, and some of the kindred are starting to notice. It's not long for... It seems like Grayson, his conversation seems to have finished. Damien, the hounds, as well as Alexis, the scourge. So you're walking off, appearing satisfied in one way or another. Damien definitely doesn't look happy. But the rest seem placated as Grayson begins to make his way back on over.
So?
It'll be fine for now.
It's pretty serious.
Not everybody's going to have as lucky an experience as they do with Los Sombra as you and I in our coterie. We are a very motley crew, but we're also a bit of an example of what good there could be.
After a few moments, you do see Drago's kind of coming around the woodwork. It's strange how he moves. Within the city, he walks so openly, but it's almost as if here within the woods, he just seems to almost meld out of nowhere. It's almost manifesting out of the darkness once again. He comes up and actually puts a hand on Sierra's shoulder, causing her to jump ever so slightly, and he smiles. Sierra, darling, would you please join me? We need to have a few words with everybody, and the rest of you, don't go far. You all will be useful tonight. You'll see why, but I recommend you get your, get your dog out of the fucking water dish before I have to go yank him out myself, as he just slowly gestures over to Acer, who is still feverishly trying to clean his jacket with one arm.
I will make my way over to Acer.
He does know that there's washing machines at the center.
The heavy-duty ones are at the center. I'll let him know. I don't think he's been up there.
Oh.
Yeah, no, he hasn't. I don't think he's been.
Well, at least he didn't smell as bad as Malakoff.
Right. Acer.
He kind of just turns his head. Yeah, what's up?
Do me a favor. I think the jacket is going to be fine for now. I'll show you to the heavy-duty detergents we have back at the facility, but for now, I need you to put a pause on this.
He kind of just lifts up the coat, walks over to the Grayson and Crescent and goes, yeah, the stains aren't the problem, as he kind of just holds it up. It still smells like him.
It's rank.
No.
Yeah, I would have just burned it at this point, gotta be honest.
I have a few things.
Medical's also really good with clothes, so...
I just wanted to get the scent off, but it seems like I'm not going to be able to. So, and he just, not the most graceful, but he puts on his coat, and it's just a wet coat, and it's like, oh, that actually feels good. And just puts up the wet hood.
It still looks good.
That Oblivion shit hurts.
Are we done over there? Everything okay?
Yes, my prince.
Good.
All set.
Good. All right, can I get... Yeah. I hear everyone's attention. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for... Yes, thank you. All right, everyone. I know. Before anyone even has anything to say about this, I get it. I've called you out twice in a row. And you know what? I apologize about that. But I promise you, guarantee it, that this is going to be worth it. You see, last night, I had a big announcement. The Sombra were in Seattle. Now, granted, I will be honest, I didn't really expect that this was going to be a whole clan type endeavor. If I have to be completely honest, I expected just a couple of Sombra. As I've already captured a small trial run with our resident neonate over here, Sombra embraced and raised within the Camarilla ourselves. As he gestures over to you, Crescent. As far as I can tell, it's worked out pretty heavenly so far, if you catch my drift. However, while I was at first very apprehensive of that sudden influx, and it did catch me off guard, just like the rest of you, Sierra actually came to me with a very, very interesting idea. So she passed on a message to me yesterday in more detail. That the elders of the eldest of Clan of the Sombra all wish asylum, and they were willing to do whatever it took. It was actually our local Cam coterie, as he gestures back over to you all as a whole, that came up with this very fascinating idea. Let the Sombra prove themselves. There's a lot of bad blood between us, obviously, for rightful reasons. But if the Sombra were really dedicated in joining the Camarilla, they would do what it took, just like the rest of us. We've all have given up a little bit of freedom for the greater of the whole, for protection. So the Sombra have to pay that price too. Just because they're joining halfway doesn't mean they can just get off scot-free. So I agreed with this coterie's idea. Have the Sombra bring in their elders. Make their elders pay for the crimes that they have yet to commit as payment into the Camarilla within our city. Allow the new generation to wipe away the blood and the history that so worries all of us. And finally, let the clan of Night fall into the fold. Now, it's been a pretty harrowing night, but I have to ask you, and I am curious, and the rest of us want to hear this, I'm sure. A coterie, Mr. Holland. Can you all of you, especially your, I'm sure your individual back there who's a little, needs a hand, is, definitely has probably a few choice words to say. Why don't you all tell us how far that experience has gone? Has Sierra proved herself? In all honesty, what words can you share in this whole situation? We are all very curious, so please share your mind freely.
I would say my experience with this clan is informative, helpful. They want to see the kindred become the whole that we should be all together. And I have one of my own, and I would have it no other way. We're all of my members of my coterie, and I even make a point to look at Sierra and give a nod to her as well.
She stands, you get the sense a little forcefully, but she does stand close to Drago, so she does nod her head ever so slightly. Drago kind of chimes in, and I'm speaking for all of you. I understand that Mr. Holland likes to do a lot of the talking, as he seems to be the most charismatic out of all of you, but I want all of your opinions. Every single one of you matters, as every single kindred in my city fucking matters. So please, the rest of you, what are your opinions? Don't feel like you have to agree, Mr. Holland, if you think of something different. And Crescent, don't feel like you have to agree because it's your clan. You were born here. You were embraced within our city. You don't stand like the rest of Sabat. You were Camarilla through and through. So you have just as much to say as the rest of us here.
Well, that being said, I've experienced the struggle of the Sombra trying to come back to Camarilla. And Sierra, she's been loyal and dedicated and definitely determined in the best La Sombra way to prove not only herself, but the clan as a whole that we're willing to do what it needs to be done. I think she's done amazing.
Bold words. Bold words. You can see there's a lot of talks and murmuring started coming on amidst the crowds. And they're fairly sizable. Not every kindred in Seattle, obviously, but definitely a lot of the higher-ups. And the barons are all definitely here. Prince Charles leans back and is like, well, those are fine words. But at the end of the day, well, I could. I won't make this decision for everyone. You see, at the end of the day, I am a prince. But I am only a prince because of the will of the people, the will of our fellow kindred. So I will not be the single-handed decision in this matter. In most cases I will, but in this case I will not, as this affects every one of us as a whole. So everyone, talk amongst yourselves. Have a representative or your primogen state your clan's vote. But regardless of the outcome, that fate is sealed by that man over there, as he points over to Malenkov, who's now strung up on a pyre. It will end with his death by fire, regardless of our choices. And whatever that choice may be is sealed with his fate. Immediately, there's an uproar of people. You can hear a cacophony of arguments shouting out at Drogos' statement. Some are screaming in favor for the burning of the La Sombra, reduce him to ashes. Others scream, begging for a more humane death, a quicker death. Others are refuting a death altogether. This statement alone has sent the entirety of the clans into a field of chaos, of bickering and snipping and yammering at each other. It is impossible to figure out where to get a word in before Drogos says, "Hey! Enough! His fate is sealed. No matter how we shave it, he is a war criminal against the Camarilla, and he is Sierra's offering. We're not here to decide his fate. His fate has been sealed. One way or another, he dies tonight. Our coterie has shown their loyalty, assisted with Sierra, and Sierra has made good on her word. My agreement is fulfilled. He dies tonight, and you all decide not only her fate, but the rest of the Camarilla. Please, talk. Make use of this time. Come to your decisions." With a hand wave, Drogos steps back, but keeping a hand on Sierra, who steps willingly behind with them. As you all kind of look about, you definitely can see groups begin to form immediately of all clans. As they begin talking amongst each other, it seems that deliberations are heavily starting, very eagerly, about what to do next. Every clan, Alcavians, Ventru, Bruja, Toreador, Tremere, Gangrel, Nosferatu, the Banu Hakim, and even the Ministry, all of them breaking off into their own sects and talking amongst themselves. I remind you all, you are part of this. If you all feel like you would like to try and add in and make a case for your own clans or for others, you may do so. And I'll remind you, Acer, you look around, you're not very well versed, but you don't see any clans that represent you. And you get the sense that maybe it's possible you're the only thin blood here, but based on what Drogos has said, all clans in this city matter, and thin blood is still a clan.
Oh, crap.
At the end of the day, if you guys wish to try and plead your case to some of the other clans, to your own clans, you may do so now. If you do not wish to participate, whatever happens, happens.
Is there like a place where I could get on top, maybe like a rock or something, so that everyone can see me?
You definitely can take the viewing area that Drogos was previously standing on in the center of the crowd.
Oh, no.
I'm going to look around. Is he around? Because I'm not going to get up there if he's looking at me.
He's not standing necessarily in the center of the area, but he is pulled back, as he said he would. It doesn't seem like he's going to intervene on anything right now. He made it very clear this is not him for to decide, at least alone.
Fuck it. I have no charisma. I'm going up there.
What do you do, Acer?
Oh dear.
I'm just gonna walk up to that point, and I'm just gonna kind of clear my throat. Just be like, Excuse me, can I have everyone's attention, please?
It takes a few moments as you kind of pipe up over the crowd, but after a moment, you're just kind of standing there very awkwardly alone. Eventually, some of the kindred turn, kind of tap each other and start looking. And it's not long to the horror of your coterie as they watch you with wide eyes. You start to gather a bit of attention as some, then most, of the clans stop their deliberating for a moment and look at you.
Okay. I know very well where I stand with everyone. My nickname seems to be fucking Thin Blood. My word may not carry a lot of weight. However, I noticed that I'm the only one of my kind here. So
again, just not too far from the distance. That's because Thin Bloods aren't a clan. They're a plague.
And yet, this plague still wishes to see order and balance within the community. So, while you're deciding whatever weight this carries, just think of it like this. I hate what I am. And I don't say that lightly.
You hear a bit of snickering and chuckling amongst the crowds as they look at you like this is some kind of joke.
But the La Sombra don't. They want to be a part of something greater. So, whatever you decide, I know that I'm deciding to make her a part of something greater. That's it. And then he just gets off and walks back.
Draw goes, wait a minute there, boy.
Shouldn't have opened my mouth. Yep.
You're right. There are no Thin Bloods here. In fact, I can remember a time when a Thin Blood was actually ever invited into Elysium. These past 2 nights have been a first, 2 times in a row. So, you realize you speaking up like this, you're speaking on behalf of all Thin Bloods. You realize that, right? And you want to place the word of your whole clan on your decision, for better or for worse. You're willing to stand by that.
Well, the way I see it, if someone more deserving that was a Thin Blood, they would have been here. Since I'm the only one here, then yeah, I am.
You know, I don't think I've seen a Thin Blood be as ballsy as you in a long time. At least survive to tell the tale. And frankly, you must be a little bit better at it considering the fact that most of you is here. You hear a bit of a chuckle amongst the crowd as they kind of begin to whisper, reversing to your arm. It's fine. You've heard your words. And before anyone asks, no, I ain't making no Thin Blood a fucking primogen. But at least for tonight, think of your decision carefully. What's your name?
Acer. Acer Zoran.
Acer Zoran. Well, think very carefully on your decision, Acer Zoran. You've just jumped yourself into the hot seat. You get a say. For better or for worse. You want to put your hat in the ring? What you say reflects on the Thin Blood's decision. So, when we vote, you vote too.
He kind of just gives a nod and quietly goes back. I hate that I did that. Why'd I do that? Guys, next time I try to do that, shoot me.
That was actually really great. That was actually really good. I'm actually shocked.
Steady on, good boy, because that was...
Please shoot me next time.
Honestly, I think my speech is coming off on him. I think he's learning.
Oh, like he's getting charismatic.
A little bit.
Oh.
I hate both of you.
He loves this.
In the meantime, Crescent, do you want to try and intermeet with the clan to try and plead your case? Or Grayson, do you want to maybe even try and speak with your clan personally and see how they feel and maybe sway them in one way or another? Again, Your words have weight here tonight. Every kindred here has weight. If it's something you want to do, now's the time to do it.
What do you think? Split up, see what we can do.
I'm not very charismatic, but our lives are kind of on the line.
Me, myself, and Crescent are going to walk over to the Tremere.
The Tremere Council are all huddled together in almost this perfect circle, almost symmetrical with each other. They're speaking very calmly. As you walk up closer, you hear many of them seem to be speaking very unison, nodding their heads. As you get closer, you do hear Marcus, the primogen, goes, "So we're in agreement. This is not good for the clan. We vote no, correct? Is that how we all feel?"
I'm just gonna stay. Go. Approach. As I approach, I put my hands behind my back, but I approach very respectfully, like, "Good evening."
As soon as you say good evening, the Tremere turn to look at you, and they make space for you. They open up the circle wider, just enough for you, though. As they do turn their heads to see Crescent, but look back to you as they all say, evening, good evening, yes, evening. You do see your sire, Berchtold, almost completely parallel to you on the other side, as he just also nods his head.
Who's by? Follow me up.
They don't say anything to Crescent.
I walk into the circle and I position myself as symmetrically as I can.
I can't stand anywhere, so I'll just be kind of behind Grayson.
Marcus does turn his head. He was like, "I'm sorry, I don't think we've had the pleasure." Bertrand was like, "Oh, he's my childer. This is Mr. Holland. He's one of our youngest neonates. I'm sorry. Grayson, did you have something you wanted to add? It seems you were pretty much almost already done delegating and come to a decision."
May I, first of which, sir, bow my head.
He dips his head to you as well. That many of his long, dread-like locks come down. You can see a myriad of charms and strange sigils braided into his hair. White tattooing ink that just seems to be permanently plastered into his flesh. They go all the way down underneath his collar, where he wears several layers of very aesthetic robes of the African region, of very unique braids and patterns and designs and colors. It's very bright for what most kindred would wear, as typically black is the new black. But you can see braided within the actual outfit itself is just myriads of twisting tapestries and symbols that almost seem to tell some kind of hidden story that's just beyond your reach. And he just gently puts his hands together in front of him, like so, and just tilts his head like, "Well, you are Tremere? Speak."
I would like to know what is the decision of our clan for the time being, if I may.
The time being is concrete. You've decided no. We mean no insult to your coterie member, as Jarvis did make it very clear that he does have a preference for, as he calls it, a homegrown Lasombra. But Dragos may be Tremere, but he does not speak for the clan. He may be in favor, but overall we believe Lasombra are not good for Seattle. We believe Lasombra bring complication and chaos to the order, while we, Tremere, have done more than enough effort to bring back the order that was lost thanks to this horrific democratic triad that had been going on for some time. And we feel that Lasombra, even worthy Lasombra, risk all of that.
This I can understand. They are trouble and with a speckled past, but I believe our clans are similar in that way.
You hear a bit of alert murmurings between others, and Marcus tilts his head. Similar? Young boy, we could not be farther than the truth. We are not similar. We have worked hard to distance ourselves from the mentality of the Sabbat. We have strived for order in this chaos. We earned our place. And I, for one, do not see any benefits to allow a clan that has been brainwashed by the Sabbat mentality of violence, coercion, and backstabbing to be allowed into the clans, to be allowed to walk amongst the Camarilla, only to do the same to us and everybody else. They are a threat, not an ally.
I would say there are enough threats standing in this very area with us. And when I say that we have similar pasts, I mean that in their past they have unrivaled power and it has gone unchecked. And sometimes in our past, we have it. And it has gone astray at times. But we have built ourselves back. Stronger. She's an opportunity.
And what makes you think that beyond her being a special exception, because I do apologize, your friend doesn't carry much weight here. She has not become Camarilla from Sabbat, as Drago so eloquently pointed out. She knows no other way. But who's to say that these individuals that we let in, what if they don't follow our way? What if they buy their way in through deviousness and backstabbing at its base, and then their ways do not change once they're here? Who's to say that they do indeed murder their elders, only to allow themselves into our Camarilla, only to murder elders even further? Their very need and desire to do whatever it takes to gain access into the tower already shows that they're willing to do whatever it takes to further their own goals, even putting the rest of us at risk. Breaching the Masquerade is not too far away from that ply, not to mention the possibility of dismantling other clans that they have a vendetta against. And while I do agree that we, as a whole, especially myself, don't always see eye to eye with the Bruja or their methods, at least they're typically loyal to their cause, even if they tear each other apart to do it. I, for one, I question whether the La Sombra hold that same kind of loyalty, except furthering only their old goals, despite everybody's suffering. We may be kindred, and yes, there's a certain amount of subterfuge that goes into positioning, just like human politics. But there's a difference between trying to get the leg up against our enemies and then burning us all to ground together.
What gain would there be in that?
The final destruction of the Camarilla. La Sombra and the Camarilla have been enemies for centuries. Who's to say that they don't take the lying Sabbat way, bring it into the Camarilla, and infest us from within, and tear us apart asunder? You weren't even alive and breathing air as a mortal when the Convention of Thorns took place and the Sabbat manifested itself. What makes you think when we let all those La Sombra in who weaseled their way in by murdering their elders? How do you think they're going to wind up adding to the Camarilla, except by bringing it down from within with more chaos?
We're not doing that when we're already dwindling our numbers just to get in, just to find safety. We're accepting the fact that we made a mistake.
Marcus slowly turns his head to you. You speak boldly for someone so young. You realize the damage I could do to you right now. I am older than Dragos.
I don't take back what I said.
So either you're insanely brave or you're immensely stupid. He slowly turns his head away from you, looks to you, Grayson. Now, as a member of this clan, I will allow you to speak your say. Everyone here within the Chancery has a say, even as someone as low on the bracket as you. So, do not forget your place, young neonate. While I have heard her words, can you supply the weight to tip our scales? Go on. Speak. I am listening.
I take off the cuff on my arm, and I pull my arm back and show the burn.
There's a murmur of shock and awe amongst the others. Do you get a sense of some are surprised to see an injury, others are maybe murmuring that you maybe should be embarrassed to show that kind of weakness? It has caught many off guard.
What I saw tonight and what I have experienced in previous nights with her, with Alessandra, I did not even sense betrayal. I did not sense lies. I just sensed our kindred. Us. Not just her. Sierra as well. Barely knowing us. She risked her life, her own life, for us as well. For me, specifically on this night. I have before put my trust in her, and I will do so again. Otherwise, the next time, this may not be as minor as an injury I sustain.
Go ahead and make a charisma and persuasion check.
Really, I don't like making these anymore tonight. I really don't.
Welcome to diplomacy, my friend.
Politics.
You're doing great. You're the only one who can. Keep
Two
going.
successes.
How many?
2.
2 successes.
I don't have a lot of persuasion.
To your
We will.
surprise, Marcus breaks the circle. He steps away from the center and approaches you. As he walks closer to you, his feet don't make a sound. As if he's walking, but he's not even touching the ground that he walks. He seems to glide almost towards you. There's a coldness around his air. Not cruel, but cold. He looks at you with almost this calculating logic that is beyond your years. As if within a moment of just looking at you and watching you speak, he's able to denounce every mathematical equation about you down to the smallest decimal within his own mind. He tilts his head. So let me ask you a very specific question, little neonate. Do you value your existence above all elders?
I do value my existence.
So, if it came down to it, he turns to look at the pyre. Would you willingly walk into that fire? To save your friend? Would you end everything that you know and care about for eternity to the oblivion if it meant to save your La Sombra friend? Because that's the kind of treatment that we are expected to give them if they come into the Camarilla. Would you be the first in line to do so? Without a shadow of a doubt, and no hesitation.
I think if I were to give an answer to this clan, really make it so the fire does not.
He looks over his shoulder to Berchtold. You've done well to start him off with the right mentality. Berchtold just nods his head. There's a small smile on his face. About the rest of you. Does his words carry any weight with you all? The point of view of maybe, while the La Sombra may bring fire to the Camarilla, maybe the perspective that we are wise enough to not let the fire burn is enough to sway your judgments. There's actually an awkward silence among the circle as Marcos kind of floats his way back. Never breaking eye contact with you, Grayson, but he does slowly look at the rest of them. There almost seems to be this unspoken dialogue that you don't seem to be privy to. They kind of go back and forth, some shaking their heads, some nodding, some giving different hand gestures or signs. Marcus puts a small hand up and the gestures fade. Your words, your thoughts are something to consider. I will deliberate with myself further, and I will think upon them, and I'll make a decision that I feel is best for our clan, and I expect you, young neonate, to follow in line with whatever I decide. Is that understood?
And above all,
And in the future, you may want to have a discussion with your friend, as she gestures over to Crescent. While her words may be bold, and in my opinion, they are brave, Not every clan member of Arthur Kindred will see it as such. And you may find that's going to get you in more trouble than it's worth. He kind of waves a hand, signaling that he's dismissing you.
I will give a slight bow, and I will very gracefully step backwards out of the circle.
Are there any other clans you wish to try and speak to make complete your case, or have you resigned to whatever judgment may happen?
We're going to be out here all night if we're talking to every clan.
It's true. And unfortunately, I don't think the Lasombra have a very good representation here.
And no, we don't even
You get the sense that they don't have a voice right now.
know.
I think we've done what we can. The rest are not going to be very...
We can't do every clan.
No, we cannot.
I think that's everyone.
Time goes by as you all kind of begin to huddle together, feverishly waiting as clans continue to deliberate, speak amongst each other. Appears even Clan Tremere. But they seemed at first very steadfast in the decision, seem to continue to deliberate even further now. Whether your words had significant weight? Yet to be seen. This goes on for a little while longer. For eventually Dragos, all right, everyone. Come together. That's long enough. If you all haven't come to a decision by now, think it up fast. Because we can't be here all night. The sun will eventually kill us. And I'd rather not have that happen. What say you all? The first to step up are the Malkavians. They kind of look to each other very suspiciously as they seem lost without their permission. But after a while, you do see Luis Vasilie, the Baron of the Rainier Valley, and the Malkavian Baron steps forward. She speaks very gently. We have all deliberated, and while we disagree with Sundew Berry's statement, and we do not approve of his methods, and his actions and visions do not reflect on all of us as a whole, while we mean no insult, we do not believe that La Sombra should join the Camarilla. It is clear that they cannot be trusted. As look upon the state of the tribute they bring, he is a white. He is no longer kindred, and in our eyes, the tribute that Sierra has brought us is a failure. Coming from a clan that knows what it's like to carry risk with what we are, La Sombra carry too great of a risk, and we vote no. There are whispers, some disagreements, but overall, the Malkavians stand together as Luis, the Baron, steps back into her place. The next is Caroline Grimmier, the Baron of Northgate with the Ventru. She steps forward. While we don't have a primogen, I will speak on our behalf then. The Ventru say yes. We understand innovation takes risk. Investment takes time. And while, yes, La Sombra are indeed a risk to be wary of, any good business individual and those with honor and poise can handle the aggravated changes that come with time. And we feel that the La Sombra have a place in the Camarilla, especially if they're willing to invest such a risky and high price to do so. After all, watching young La Sombra murder the elders for a chance to join our ranks shows that they're willing to do what it takes. And any true blue blood would do the same. So we vote yes. Ventru side with La Sombra. Allow them in. The Ventru step back as they all seem pretty much in unison. And you do see Erica turn her face and give you a small wink crescent. She smiles at you and nods. Next is Clan Bruja. As they step forward, you see a very large individual, but older, very old, very wrinkled skin, very long, massive white beard, bald, shaved head, clean. And while his frame may not be stocky, he is tall, shoulders broad and fit. He carries his back straight as he holds a cane in front of him. The Brujah vote no. Well, my own personal wishes to see the Camarilla strengthened. My clan, unfortunately, are divided. The Anarchs of us must be treated in consideration as well. And due to the fact that the Sombra joining sides with the Camarilla divides our clan, we cannot make a consensus. Therefore, out of the respect for democracy, I must say no, despite my own personal wishes. And I have nothing more I can say on the matter. As he dips his head, as even to this point, you can hear very emotional arguing behind him, but Kritas, the primitive for the Brujah, goes, "Shh, silence!" And all fall in line, as there's this almost wave of strength that seems to radiate off of him. The Toreador stepped forward. Annabelle, the owner of the Succubus Club, wearing a very elaborate hiking outfit that barely constitutes as outdoor wear. She kind of leans forward with a smile, gives a wave to everybody. She gives you a wink, Crescent, smiles very sincerely at Sierra, almost like she's slightly voguing, trying to always find her right angle even in this lighting. Oh, we vote yes. We think it's actually very interesting. I think the Sombra add a certain flair to the Camarilla. Oh, but we do really oppose to burning Malinkoff alive. Can't we just, cut off his head or something? It would be much cleaner and not quite as grotesque. But overall, we say yes. Why not? Art comes with pain. Pain brings inspiration. And after all, the camera was getting a little bit stale. There's a gray silence as many of the Toreador kind of huddled together, seeming almost protective of each other. Clan Tremere stepped forward. As Marcus is opened up by the circle. He kind of stands there looking at everybody, his eyes kind of scanning the crowd, before looking over at you, Grayson. Clan Tremere will vote yes. While I disagree with the decision personally, and I find that the Sombra bring nothing but chaos and strife and potentially could bring more harm and risk the Camarilla, there is a certain weight to be had. There's a point to be made that them joining the Camarilla only strengthens our cause. And if they can be re-taught, and they can be assimilated into our ways, there is a possibility that I cannot deny that there could be a betterment to all. While I say that possibility is negligibly slim, it is still a possibility. So despite all odds, and my own personal feelings on the matter, Clan Tremere will vote yes. The clan is silent as he leans back into the chantry. Clan Gangrel step forward. As you see a very stout woman, heavily scarred on one face, but beautiful in features. Her hair is wild and tamed back, as if it's like feathered dreads that just seems to almost radiate just every ounce of energy she carries, with sharp, bestial eyes that glow at amber gold even in this darkness. She leans over and looks to her left and right suspiciously at the other clans. And she simply says, yes. But gives no reasoning. Gives no words. Simply steps back in with the other gangrel that look to their surroundings, uncomfortable to be in the open. The Nosferatu. Monstrous. The collectives look like a pack of mutants and beasts, their flesh twisted and torn in monstrosities. One does step forward. He is a dark, almost even purpled skin Nosferatu. His ears pointed sharp and angular. his snout coming together, very narrow at the front, almost gremlin-esque. He's hairless everywhere, not a lick of hair on him, but very large, bulbous eyes that radiate a strange blackness, but he's dressed very dapper. A very fine suit, very fine linen, even with a nice fedora as he kind of takes it off and holds at his front. Well, bearing in mind, there's a lot that can be learned from both sides. Camarilla have their secrets, the Anarchs have theirs, the Sabbat have theirs. We all keep secrets from each other. There's not a single one of us that can pretend to say otherwise. So, in my opinion, and in many of the opinions of Clan Nosferatu, we think it's outrageous to claim that La Sombra would be any different. We are all kindred. At the end of the day, our nature is of self-preservation. We work together for survival, yes, but that only goes so deep sometimes. After all, the Nosferatu, if I must speak openly, are no strangers from Judgement, even from the Camarilla. As he slowly looks over to the Toreador, who seemed to just vie with obvious disgust. So out of the sheer curiosity for what La Sombra bring, Nosferatu say yes. Let them come. Let them sit amongst us. So maybe we have a chance to learn something more. After all, there's nothing more precious than secrets, isn't there? The Banu Hakim stepped forward. It is a woman that steps, very lightly olive-skinned. You can see strange indentions of tattooing all on her face, very similar to Midwestern Islander-style impressions. You can see many of them carry long robes or very strangely retro attire that speak of a bygone era of nobility. It looks with a modern flair, but is dated. They tend to stand out amongst the clans, and they speak in hushed whispers. The representative steps forward. We are a new clan here. To those that don't know me, I'm Katya. She looks over to you, Crescent. You can see there's an empathetic sorrow to her face. She tilts her head and seems to bite her lip. Unfortunately, we must say no. While I do say, as the newest member of the Camarilla with our clan itself, we earned our way in through service and time, and we do not feel that this method shows La Sombra have learned anything. They only continue to do what they were bred to do. To maim and kill one another for no good reason beyond to step upon themselves. And we cannot condone that method. So it's for that reason the Banu Hakim vote no. We will not support this. And steps back. The Anarchs at this point in the background as Mal Davis shouts like, what about our vote? Give us our vote! We're a part of this too! You can't just overskip us entirely! As Dragos shouts in, silence! The captive and the Anarch don't get a vote. Your opinions have no basis on the Camarilla. Your only protection is the Elysium. So silence, or you will be removed. Your opinion carries no weight, so either stay and be respectful, or be gone. The last clan to step up, the Ministry themselves. They step up collectively, as there is no primogen for the Ministry, specifically. As one young man steps up, very well clean, almost militaristic, almost attire. You can see he's wearing a very well nice dress suit, as he works very hard to try not to step in the mud. We here at the Ministry are not traditionally Camarilla. While we have been accepted, our alliances don't necessarily weigh 100% in with the Camarilla either. We choose to abstain, as we do not feel comfortable voting in this process, even though we will be affected. So we will not vote, and we will defer to the majority. Soon, very slowly, all eyes turn to look at you, Acer, the last clan that hasn't voted.
I said it before, so I don't think my vote will come as a surprise to anyone. I vote yes. And purely based on the fact that I know how it feels to be on the outside, both before and after the embrace. I think they deserve a shot. And he just steps back.
Dragos, with his hand upon Sierra's shoulder, steps forward. Well, that was eventful. It seems like everyone said their sides. Takes a moment to count. By my count, appears the majority vote for yes. Well, as the prince, I would say my vote carries the highest weight of all. I also vote yes. Then it's official. From this moment forward, this method now stands true. Any La Sombra that wants sanctuary within the city of Seattle, as I cannot control the princes of other cities, I can only control my domain. But within Seattle, it will be known that we are a safe haven for La Sombra. On the price, they bring a torpid elder as their tribute. They will earn their way in and be accepted as one of us and be treated like any other kindred. He turns to his left as you can see Perseus navigate through the crowd carrying a very large, rune-carved, ornate broadsword. He hands it very politely over to Dragos, who takes it by the hilt and seems to bear no weight as he slides it at Perseus's grasp, holding Sierra by the shoulder and brings her over to the pyre. He turns the blade over to her. Stake your claim, Sierra. Be the first of all. Execute your brother and join us in the Camarilla. As Sierra slowly takes the blade, the crowd uproars. While the majority seem to cheer and agree, you do hear those individuals that don't, especially from the Malkavians. You hear things like, "What have you done? What have all of you done? You've doomed us all to death from within. The Tremere would have voted with us." The Tremere stand back. "We vote for ourselves as a whole, unlike the Malkavians with their fractured minds." Fractured minds? You were just as crazy as us. You were betrayers and you made it in. As there appears to be some very harsh infighting coming in, as the clans begin to almost divide themselves apart of those that were in favor and those that were against, as tensions quickly begin to rise. Dragos waves hands. "That's enough! Remember, we are still at Elysium. I called it to a vote. The vote has been cast. No matter what your personal feelings are, it is to be respected, and that is now my decree. All that work against it will meet the same fate as the Malkavian Primogen. So Malkavians, I suggest you and the rest of your clan come together and get a handle on yourselves. Because don't think I'm not going to root out every single one of you to see who was actually in line with Son Newberry. Do not think you have left my gaze because you allowed the treason to be expunged. I will make sure of it." You do see Louis Facilier, Baron, take almost like this calming breath that seems to just kind of reverberate through the Malkavian clan. You do get into the back, like, "You know what? Fuck this. Fuck the Camis. Fuck everybody here. Fuck you, Dragos. Fuck Tally. Fuck everyone here. You all are a bunch of ingrate idiots. Do you understand that Layla Somber Inn doesn't just wipe you out, it wipes everybody out. So don't come crying to us when we toss your fucking tower to the ground, because the summer you're just going to tear out the base for us. there's a riot of shouts, many from the Bruja clan, as they're still heavily divided on their situation. As one after another, some kindred from other clans, mostly from the Bruja clan, began to separate themselves. It gets very obvious of the anarchs that were within other clans as well. But for long, there is a sizable anarch group that begins to coalesce. We try to play nice. We tried it all your way. As Maldavis now steps up. You have now made our graves. Now we have definitely a motivation to take back our city from this tyranny. This is not democracy. This is not real kindred freedom. This is one psychopath telling you all how to think. And you're all too blind to understand it. Mark our words. This is not the end. And La Sombra will be all of our downfall. As one after another, Maldavis and the other anarch group begin to turn and walk out of the proceedings. As Dragus just sits there with a smile. Wow! Big words. Now we know who our true allies are. Let them go. Don't hold ill will. For tonight, we're not going to spoil our way. Camarilla hold true. Order has prevailed. And despite personal opinion, that is the beauty of the vote. You don't have to like it. But the majority rule for the better of all. Now, Sierra, enough distractions. Take the blade and take your place. She slowly pulls the blade from his hand as she walks across the muddied soil as rain begins to heavily fall. She steps up onto the pyre's pile, almost head to head with Malakoff, who lays torpid, staked by bone, and slacked against it. She kind of heaves the blade up, a bit too cumbersome for her, as you see her lean in and say, You know, Malakoff, I always hated you. You were a fucking embarrassment to me. You were a fucking embarrassment to our sire. And you were a fucking embarrassment to our clan. And we're better off without you! One fell swoop, the head comes clean off. It flies into the air, spirals, and Malakoff's body disintegrates to ash. Gone. The moment the body evaporates, the Toreador being the loudest, all cheer and shout! As Drago just continues clapping, and that shall be it! Case in proof, loyalty can be earned. Now, the night is growing weak. The sun will be upon us soon. Everyone return to your havens. We're starting tomorrow night. My sheriff and his hounds will make sure to enforce my ruling. And those that have made unaware of it, my new herald, as he gestures over it, as you can see Sun step next to him, dressed in a very elaborate, braided, black and shimmering gown that seems to just capture the battery-lit light just ever so barely. She will make sure that every clan is known of our decisions, and the clan representatives' decisions on each matter. She will spread the word that starting tomorrow for the foreseeable future, a permanent La Sombra blood hunt has been started. Any La Sombra wish to come in, merely bring them the elders. And that is how they will be accepted. Thank you all. Have a good night. Remember, you are all safe to travel home. He bows deeply as shouts erupt from the Camarilla one more time. The overall masses approving tonight's events. As the clans begin to disperse, Dragos approaches Sierra, slowly taking the blade from her, as you see him lean over to her and say, Well, Sierra, welcome to the Camarilla. May its curses and its benefits be yours. Carrying the sword upon his shoulder, he leaves the stunned Sierra just to kneel by down the pyre, alone, as he approaches the rest of you. Now, what to do with you three? You know, you guys have really put a lot of stress into my hair. Quite a bit. But overall, you proved a lot of loyalty. So this is what I'm going to do. For your, what I say, overall exemplary service to the Camarilla, and your pride as a kindred. Grayson, that line that you carry, that you can contact me with, I know I told you at one point not to use it. But I can see you have a budding desire for the benefit of this city. If you need to contact me, you may do so. But be warned, do not waste my time. I'm a very busy individual, but if you need to speak with me, I will hear you out. As mechanics-wise, you now have gained influence as a coterie within the Camarilla and may seek an audience with the prince as you need fit. And additionally, I don't hold Anarch claim for territory substantial in the slightest. They made it very apparent that they'd rather squabble amongst themselves rather than the benefit of the whole. So I'm going to be instructing my hounds to be carving a generous section away from Maldavius and their ilk, including Genghis' space. And I will be reassigning that territory to you. Its hunting grounds, its benefits, its resources, they will be yours and your coteries. As a reward for your service and honesty and loyalty to the camp.
That is very gracious of you, my prince. I am indebted. Thank you.
No, you're not indebted. You have shown your worth. And it'll be up to you to defend your new territory, as always. So, consider it as its own challenge. But you are growing within our community. It's time you start thinking like possibly a baron. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's see how you do with a little extra territory underneath your belt.
I would be all right with that. There is, say, a lot of time I have now.
Well, one would hope that you could get some rest between you and Lefty over here. He gestures over to Acer. And Acer, I don't say this very often to Thin Bloods, as they typically, well, piss me off. But I will say, you are a strange individual, and I can comfortably say you make it so I don't regret killing you the first night I met you. So, I don't say this lightly, do not take it lightly, and if you abuse it, I will change my mind very quickly and separate your head from your shoulders, as you are still technically unclaimed, and breaking a whole lot of rules that I have to smooth over. But if you need to speak with me, I think you've sacrificed enough poundage of flesh to have earned your spot amongst the Camarilla as well. So, if you need to speak with me on matters that I can assist you with, merely let me know and I'll do my best, but don't waste my time either, or again, I will separate your head from your body. Understood?
Acer just kind of gives a bow.
Your flaw that is disliked by the Camarilla has now been replaced by the advantaged with a minor influence within the Camarilla. And Crescent, be sure to ferry my message over to Eleonora and just simply let her know she will be Damien's replacement by the end of the week.
I will be sure to let her know.
Good. I get the sense that she has a better sense of loyalty and honor of law than Damien does. It appears with the fracturing of the Bruja clan in general, I can no longer 100% trust my own sheriff. If his actions say anything tonight, it might be best to make swift adjustments. So just inform her by the end of the week I will be in touch.
I can do that.
Thank you. Anyway, travel safely. Good evening. As he just merely sidesteps past you all and walks very casually down the track, swinging the sword, very relaxed.
I'm going for Sierra. I want to make sure she's okay after that.
You rush over to Sierra, where you see her just pick up a very small amount of Malenkoff's ashes and just let them kind of fall in front of her. She just kind of does this over and over again. You rush to her side, she just looks up to you, just wide-eyed and shaking, just letting the ashes run through her fingers. I can't believe I fucking did that. I can't believe I said that. I can't believe it's over.
You don't seem happy. Are you?
I'm ecstatically happy. I'm also just kind of in shock. I can't believe that worked. I can't believe Malenkoff's dead. He's just dust in the wind.
Yeah.
Not much I can say, but this was probably the best for him.
I feel like the real Malenkoff died a long time ago.
I don't know. That's not my problem anymore.
No, it's not. I mean, what are you going to do now?
I'm going to go hit up some of my contacts. I'm going to go check into a 5-star hotel for free. I'm going to drop a nice fucking bubble bath. And I'm going to sleep tomorrow morning away. But as you all gather yourselves up towards the end of this chronicle and begin making your way down the path, Grayson, you begin to fall behind, reflecting upon the story's events. And you suddenly feel the hair on the back of your neck kind of raise up, like you're being watched. You turn around real quick, just in time to see a small piece of paper kind of waft on the breeze and land in the ash pile of Malenkoff.
I'm going to go over and subtly pick up the letter.
Do you read it?
I do.
In very old and very fine calligraphy, it reads, "To whoever finds this letter, I hear rumors my 2 delegates successfully delivered the message from my clan, and dear Malenkoff must lose his life as a result. I was so hoping they would both return safely, but I can understand the nature of our proposition did not exactly prevent that. It's a crying shame to lose someone who served his clan for over a century, but we all agree sacrifices had to be made. It seems my efforts might have been in vain, sadly, but others of my clan might join the Camarilla as part of this offering and the future sacrifices. I found out last night the clan I served loyally for half a millennium is prepared to execute me, to show their dedication to the Camarilla cause. It's cold, don't you think? I suppose that means I'll have to leave your lovely city soon. It's been a delight watching you and your coterie, and the Camarilla domain with its strengths and acts and confronted by unexpected political events such as this. And I might have interfered once or twice. But I'm getting carried away, and I need to pack my bags. Of course, there truly is a blood hunt for me in Seattle. As a result of all of this, I welcome the chase. Send your best. Think of the status they might earn by capturing me, and allow me to show you why you do not want to mess with La Sombra as adversaries. Until then, and always watching from the shadows, Tally." And that's where we close this chronicle.
Look at that. The target got bigger.
The target just got much bigger.
As a result of this, the chronicle is complete. And this concludes our first season of While Seattle Sleeps. But not to worry, our wonderful listeners and skulkers out there. There will be more. I will need some time to now write a handwritten tale for our next event. So give us a little bit of breathing room while we figure this out. But we are very excited to see where this goes into the future. And I will say from the bottom of all of our undead hearts, you've all made this an exciting and worthwhile adventure to its nth degree. But for now, know that our wonderful coterie has survived beyond all hope. They get experience point for surviving the night. They get another experience point for completing the session. And they get an additional 2 experience points for completing the Chronicle. For a total of 4 experience points for tonight. Stay safe out there, everyone. Good night.
Good night.
Night.